Yo, 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 it's your boy Shawn Puff. I'm here with Lonelle.
Yo.
And this is Smarks, Spot Monkeys, and Super Geeks.
Man, we are back with another one.
Oh, this is going to be a banger this week, man. I want to first apologize. I told everyone that this week I'd be in a tuxedo. It was going to be the Smarky Awards, but due to extenuating circumstances, we had to pivot real quick. I mean,
correct.
I don't even think I got to explain to everybody what's going on.
I don't think dressing up for this conversation would have been a smart move.
Oh, right. Seriously, right? This is nuts. So I'm sure if you watch wrestling, you know what's going on with Vince McMahon. Hell, you don't have to watch wrestling to know what's going on with Vince McMahon. This shit made like regular news. It was on like, people were like, yo, this was on the local news. I mean, you see this?
Literally. It was on all over everything. CBS, ABC, crazy.
It's nuts. We wanted to have a female on today to kind of get a female point of view. Unfortunately, didn't end up happening, but we're diving into this anyway. You always said you want to get canceled. This might be the day we get canceled.
This might be the day, guys.
Cancel.
Cancel party.
We're going to dive into this. I didn't even know. This is just nuts. The whole idea of the whole thing. But there's a whole underbelly of professional wrestling. And I kind of want to talk about that part of it. And I feel like all this stuff has just recently come out.
Yep.
Starting like in 2020, I think it was, or 2021 with Speaking Out. So if you don't know, if you're new to wrestling or just were under a rock or something, Me Too happened.
Correct.
Me Too happened. Yes. And then after that, wrestling had its own version of Me Too that was called the Speaking Out movement.
Yes.
And they talked about a lot of crazy stuff that was going on currently in wrestling.
Yeah.
Not even like years ago. But when you look at it, I mean, in my opinion, and I'm going to say this right now to get controversial right off the rip, right?
We're ready.
If you look at wrestling in general, in like 2019, 2020, somewhere around that time, they started this whole big push of wrestling is for everyone, which I firmly am against. Because I feel like nothing is for everyone. Everyone has their things. Things are for certain people, certain groups of people, it's demographics. It's just what it is. There's certain things that are for me that aren't for you. There's certain things that are for you that aren't for me.
Yep.
It's just the world.
Yep.
So I feel like these people wanted I don't know what it was, but they wanted to make wrestling super inclusive and more for everybody and all of this. And they didn't realize that you got to look at the roots of where this came from, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like wrestling, it's changed. It's become a global phenomenon, right? But at one point, when you think about pro wrestling, what do you think of? Like hicks, uneducated, like country people that just like to watch these dudes beat each other up. You know what I mean?
It's come a long way from the trailer parks, yes.
Right. You know, that's the trailer parks. I don't know why I couldn't just think of that word.
It's come a long way from the trailer parks, man.
But that's when you think of wrestling, that's where it came from, right? That's what you think of. So you think that was for everybody? Somewhere along the line, you were like, this is for everybody. No.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, you can create something, and it might not have been your intent for it to be everybody. But then once everybody wants in, and you scale up, it's a derivative of scaling up.
But so I agree with that. But it takes time. You got to integrate. You can't just all of a sudden flip one day and all of a sudden because that's what happened in wrestling. The floodgates opened and then everybody was just wild. And all it did was create this environment for these predators that were already in the business.
Gotcha.
Because let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you my point of view on this, but this is predatorial behavior.
Yeah. Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, don't get it twisted. Anything I say, you might not agree with me. You might dislike some
of
what I say.
We talk about the nuances and
I'm not even talking about you. I'm just talking to everybody out there.
No, I know. I'm talking to y'all ass too. Yeah. Calm down.
Like, you might be mad and you might hate it, but listen, I'm not.
You got to have the conversation.
I understand that this is predatorial behavior, and I'm not making an excuse for it by saying this is things that have been going on for years, but, I mean, we kind of knew, right? Like, we didn't know, but we knew.
we knew, I was just talking to somebody about this earlier. It's almost like the rest of the country too, where like, we all know what's going on. We like to play shock, but we all know what's going on. And the reason why we like to do that and act like we're shocked is because we also know that we all benefit from this corrupt ass system. In some way, one way or another, we're all complicit in a lot of this stuff, because if we're not, and it's we the people, then why haven't we stopped it? Why haven't we gotten involved to the point where we're going industry for industry and weeding this stuff out? Because the truth is that shitty people are everywhere. And if the door's open, they're gonna come in.
Right. And that shitty shit sells. That's
Correct.
what people want. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not, like, look at you. Look at YouTube.
We talked about social media. Like social media, people are not like you guys that are sharing your whole lives on the Facebook and all of that stuff. I mean, it's cool, like post your dog pictures and stuff. But when you're like arguing with your girl online, like vehemently, like going crazy at people, you have to understand that the people that are liking or engaging are there for the fucking fire.
Right.
They're there for the dumpster fire. And you're just feeding them your own logs and adding to that fire. So just extrapolate that out and put it into different industry like wrestling and what have you.
But I'll take it to another level. Look at the stuff that goes viral. You don't see viral posts of intelligent videos on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok. That's not what goes viral. It's this little 3-year-old kid that wants to say fuck all the time, right?
It's
like,
wild.
That's what's going viral.
What do you mean? Little RT, they got an artist right now. He's a 6-year-old kid named Little RT, has grown-ass men behind him in the video, and they're rapping about drilling and killing and money and shit. So again, but then we have to understand that we are every time we like it and watch it and share it to a friend, we are now part of a complicit cycle.
Right. Right. And I feel like that's part of it.
You think that you're just sharing some shit with your friend, but you're spreading it. Think about the word viral. Mm-hmm. I just went over this yesterday when we was talking about algorithms on my show. It's called, the names for algorithms are shit like brute force, greedy algorithm, divide and conquer. Literally, the verbiage, the name of the algorithm is divide and conquer.
That's nuts.
So you have to stop for a second and like really take a step back. Like, we're enjoying the circus, guy. We're all in the Roman circus. We're all enjoying this show. But that doesn't mean that we can't at least be aware enough to be able to say to one another and be like, damn, this shit is bad, bro.
Right.
Like, I'm going to watch Raw tonight, but damn, this shit's bad, dog.
Well, I think they're doing a real good job.
I think they're doing a good job. Yeah, correct.
And I think that when you really look at the people that are in charge right now, they've done everything they could to distance. And we'll get into that because I have a whole theory on how that all went down, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But I want to take us back all the way to Mae Young and Fabulous Moolah. So Fabulous Moolah, when they first they get that Andre the Giant Battle Royal that happened.
Yes, yep.
And they had the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal that they kind of just unnamed to a women's Battle Royal. They haven't renamed it, and it's kind of just fallen flat since then. But the whole basis of this thing, the whole basis of why it lost the name Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal is because there's tons of rumors and allegations that when she was coming up, all the women's wrestlers then, so Moolah was kind of like the female booker. If you wanted a woman wrestler on your card, you called Moolah. And they all went through her. And you didn't get on shows if you didn't go through Moolah.
Okay.
So she had this whole estate where you would come down and you stayed there and you trained and you lived there and, you know, you travel on the road, but that's where you like came up. Yep. Eventually you'd get out of there and do your thing. But I didn't want to call it rumor and innuendo because it got her canceled posthumously, but she got canceled from it and removed her from this because it came out that, and it's something that wasn't new coming out, but was made big headlines. She was selling these wrestlers. She was pimping these female wrestlers out to all the other wrestlers.
Maxwell, correct? Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And
I heard about this.
This promoter wants you want to be on the show. You're gonna go to his hotel tonight, but he's gonna book you for the next whatever.
Yep.
So this isn't new in the business.
But I keep trying to explain to people, it's not a coincidence that Hollywood is the same home of the porn industry, guys. It's the same home. It's the same house. Right. It's the East and the West wing.
Right.
So when we see all of this stuff bleeding out through entertainment, you're not understanding that is the underlayer of entertainment. The things that you're loving to watch, the things that you're entertained by has an underbelly just like your families do, just like your communities do. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing the underbelly. And I'm actually happy that it's happening now. I'll say this. It does suck, but I'm happy that it's happening now because the way wrestling, I'm back. I haven't been in wrestling for 10 years. I'm back now and I like what I'm seeing. And I'm happy that it's happening now because like I was talking about before, is that it's kill the old guard, but that doesn't mean we're triage. You know, I got to cut out the cancer, but that doesn't mean I have to kill the baby. So I don't got to kill the WWE in this process. I just have to kill the legacy behind it, though.
Well, so here's a part of it.
Guys got to go.
So here's a part of it, though. So when you say that, right, today, I think that's dangerous to say. And here's why. Because we're in a time where we want to cancel and erase shit, right? And I don't want people to be too quick to say, we got to get rid of all of this and Vince McMahon's horrible. So, again,
no.
I'm saying, I said about Hulk Hogan.
In the event that that's different.
Well, the N-word. Chris Benoit.
Yes, but the N-word and sexually assaulting somebody, two different entirely realms.
Fact. But Vince McMahon was involved with the WWF for years. There is so much that has Vince McMahon on it.
Yep.
You can't erase Vince McMahon. They can erase Chris Benoit.
It's not a race. It's not a race.
But there's
I know that there's people that want to do that.
But that's what I'm saying. We have to watch and understand that unfortunately, his legacy is too important to wrestling to get rid of him completely like some people would want to do. And I just hope that people are smart enough to walk that fine line and say, we don't have to talk about him, we don't have to celebrate him, but the Mr. McMahon character was part of wrestling.
See, but there's two levels to like this cancel thing, right? And again, I hold no crocodile tears for somebody who has, if what is being said is true, then I hold no crocodile tears. How people are going to want to deal with it at that point is your responsibility because you're the one who put yourself in that place to be judged by people like this. If you put yourself in that space, if what is being said is true, if this is all found to be true, there's nobody. This is what we talk about extreme accountability.
Well, how about what level though? So here's my
no. So what I'm saying is you don't get to dictate that person's level. Once you've done something that goes onto the ethos. So now if we're talking about governing body and people that control the entity of WWE, I'm not saying take them out of the books. But I'm saying that the regular, everyday people that are engaging with this, especially in the climate that we're in, they're going to act like Vince doesn't exist. And that's their prerogative because of him getting himself in that situation.
But what I don't want to see is them speaking out saying, get him out. We don't want him on the WWE network. You got to get rid of everything with Vince in it. There's way too much.
That's impossible. So some cases that's easy. It was easier to get rid of a Donald Sterling who's in the back end and you never see him. Than it is to get rid of Vince.
Right.
He's in too much material. So I think that that's impossible.
So I get on the question.
And I can see that. I can't see that happening.
I get a question based on what you just said.
Yes.
So if he's found to have done what is accused.
Yep.
So let's dig into that for a second. Because here's my one problem with the whole thing.
Yep.
Right? From what I've seen, from what I've read, it seems to me that this was done amongst consenting adults. Although it might not be moral, although it might be really messed up, like this girl let him allegedly shit on her head, shit dripping down through her hair, down her back, right? In May of 2020. She stuck around until 2021. In fact, her doctor suggested that she quit and leave, and she told Vince that he said that and to get her a different doctor, so she got a different doctor. So to me, like, there's one thing when you're like, oh, the power and this and that. Listen, she had a doctor who would have been like, I got you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, there's a line, right, where you go from, all right, you're a complete victim of this, to although you might have been victimized in some way or manner, you were complacent to a large extent because you played part in this. You knew what you were doing. You agreed to $3 million.
Not necessarily. That's a good assumption. Not necessarily. Because what was his approach when he met her? If his approach was, this is what I always say to young men. Don't sell a nice guy and end up being an asshole because that's how you're going to end up in this situation. So if Vince came in on some sweet nothings and then he turned into a monster over time, There's money and influence that goes into this. Like, I know people that live right here, and they'll do some crazy shit for a Trey 5.
But here's the thing. Her parents had died.
Yes.
Right?
That's vulnerable.
She had no experience in the wrestling industry. Her family had no experience in the wrestling industry. She had no business getting a job in the wrestling industry. So I don't think that Vince came to her and was like, hey, you want to come work and be a producer? Like, there's in no world do I, especially looking at the text and the conversations that they had, there's no world do I think that Vince wasn't straight out blunt with her. Hey, I'll hire you and I'll pay you because you're sexy.
Yep.
And guys will want to have sex with you. And I'll pay you for that.
And that's another thing. So again, young men, listen, you're sexy. Cool. Great. That's base layer. What is your sexy, my guy? Ask that mother. What is your sexy, my guy? I'm not signing to be your toilet. Like what? Just have an honest. Yo, listen. I'm not saying that kinks and fetishes are a part of life. There's people like us. Nobody's judging everybody out here. These women out here selling their feet pictures. Nobody cares. There was a girl that made $2 million from selling farts in a bag, putting her farts in jars and mailing them to people.
Yo, but this girl liked it. But I don't care what. I don't care what set. Like it said. I'm gonna bring this up.
Yeah. Pull it up.
He shit in her hair, and she kept going. Like, this is nuts. It was absolutely nuts. Where is it right here? No, that's the Brock Lesnar peeing thing.
You know, it's also so while you're saying that too. I mean, just throw another point. So, young men, listen to me. If a girl is enamored by you, just like sometimes it can happen in the opposite. Sometimes they start going into you have to do checks and balances. Because sometimes they'll start engaging in an activity trying to impress you, and then at some point realize, oh shit, I'm not, this ain't my thing. So you gotta make sure, like, communication is an important thing. This is different when we're talking about rich people, dynamics, But for the everyday person that sees this does not translate to our broke ass lives. We have to figure out how to communicate with one another to make sure that this isn't happening.
But still, chat.
But go ahead.
So this is number 20. This is on that docket. There's like a 60. I didn't get that to you yet, did I?
I got it. Yep.
Cool. So
I'll actually follow with you.
Now, as one example of McMahon's extreme depravity, on May 9th, 2020, he defecated on Miss Grant during a threesome, and then commanded her to continue pleasuring his friend with feces in her hair and running down her back, while McMahon went to the bathroom to shower off. Upon his return from the bathroom, McMahon and his friend actively resumed the threesome, which lasted over an hour and a half, while Miss Grant remained covered in McMahon's filth. When McMahon's friend left, McMahon ordered her to stay and to continue to sexually gratify him. Now, see, I agree with everything that you just said previously, but here's the thing. He's shitting her hair.
Yep.
It's running down her back.
Yep.
He said, hey, stay and keep having sex with him. I'm going to go take a shower. She stayed. He came back. They started another threesome that went another hour and a half.
Yep.
This girl did not, during this time, think, I'm not down with this. Because if she did, she would have bounced while this dude was in the shower or something. There had to be opportunities. She could have been like, no.
Yes.
You know what, dude?
Everything you're saying is absolutely accurate. But the person that has the money and the power knows that. You know, I hate to go Peter Parker with this shit, but with great power comes great responsibility.
You're right. So
everything you're saying is accurate. Like, young women, leave. There was plenty of time. So you are, in my world, go ahead, lose your minds right now. You do hold some accountability to stay in that situation that long.
Right. That's
one day is one day too many.
Especially after, and this was in 2020. And this after that, to me, that's the line. Even if you say, listen, she was too afraid to leave right then.
Yes.
She wanted to stay in the situation and deal with it.
You still had plenty of opportunities.
You left that day and left the building, and you came back after this dude shit on you and made you like be in his shit for over an hour and a half.
Yep.
Nah, you like that at one point. That's the point that I say there was a line that was crossed, and if you didn't stop that you were enjoying it to an extent.
But also be aware that we saw this happen before. So it starts off with the first person. We all get caught up in the details and but we're forgetting that there were 14 other settlements with women.
Right. Because Vince just does this shit.
So.
Right.
14 other settlements.
Right. And again,
that's Bill Cosby numbers. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And same thing. I'm not saying he's not wrong. So
I think the larger question. No, I know you're not.
we're just
talking about the
I
dynamics.
just think that she has some responsibility to it.
For sure.
And let's be real
Young
about
women, you have a responsibility to say when you're uncomfortable and leave a situation. I'm raising daughters, so like some people are squirming what we're talking about right now, but this is exactly what I would say to my daughter. If you are in any uncomfortable situation, you do not wait till it's too late. You leave in that moment. You get up and go.
Right. But you
have a father, so guess what? If that motherfucker won't let you get up and go, guess who's going? He's going somewhere.
So I see that point.
But she has no parents.
So she doesn't have that protection.
Correct. And that's the women that the rich tend to pull into their circle.
True.
Like you said, she didn't deserve a position that she had, right?
Well, like I said,
it wasn't meritocracy.
Side of it, she had a doctor that would have been.
I know, that's crazy.
The doctor's gonna be like, I got you. This is wrong.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna get you out of here.
But you know what, bro?
Like that's where I look and say, okay, now you bear some responsibility.
You do,
because you had the opportunity that was given there by you by somebody that would have protected you and made sure you were all right. Because he's a doctor, and it wasn't a McMahon doctor. If you went and said, Vince, give me a different doctor. My doctor told me to quit.
If you stay because of you're enjoying the lifestyle, whatever it is, if any of that shit has to do with the perks,
listen.
Then you're making yourself culpable in the whole situation.
Listen. This girl, it's clear. She was comfortable with someone shitting in her hair for $3 million. End of story. Because she signed an NDA and she wasn't going to say a word. The only reason this came out is because this whole thing that happened before, right?
Yeah.
They thought that she leaked information out on it.
She didn't. It wasn't her.
So they stopped paying her. So she was like, "Oh, you didn't pay me. You only gave me $1 million. You didn't give me the rest of this.
Oh, come on, son.
Coming out."
So then you know for a fact he gotta go down, man. Like, yeah, nah. So you mean to tell me she played her part? Somebody else leaked, probably because this dumb ass, as you can read from the documents, was sharing pictures and telling everybody. So somebody else leaks it, but then you try to use it as a way to get around paying her the rest of her money?
No, they just stopped paying her. It wasn't even. It wasn't even like this whole thing went down, and they were like, "Nah, that girl told me."
Nah. So if you're gonna do that, and again, I don't advocate for none of that, but pay your bill, bro.
I think Steph told. Look at me. I think Stephanie McMahon told on Vince. I'm just saying. Let's look at all the stuff that came out, right? Shane McMahon. Did you see that Shane McMahon left WWE, and now we're finding out is because Vince was trying to get him into this shit. Yeah. Shane married 3 kids. He's a family man.
He's not having
proud of his family. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing about Shane. So he wasn't trying to have that. He's like, nah, I'm good with that. He turned his dad down in front of executives, and his dad didn't like it. They had beef because of that. I'm sure Steph had a lot of issues that went on too. You look back at that video that I think you had shared.
Yeah, I shared it. But there's some reality to that.
Like, you look at that.
And you see what Kurt Angle said.
Right, there's so much.
There's so much. Like, Kurt Angle had a statement about, how awkward it was to have Vince basically directing and holding the camera while Steph and him kissed. And he was like, "You want me to kiss your daughter in front of you on camera?" And it was like, all right.
Right.
And it's like, here's the problem. And this is the larger problem that we're having. This is where the WWE can run into a problem. Serious problem now. And they have to be smart enough to understand this. If you worked under Vince and you act like you didn't know what was going on, you're fucked.
I don't know, because I do see this side of it, right? I do see this side of it.
You do know what climate we're in, though, right?
Yeah, but he had his crew, and everybody knows it's well known that there are certain cliques that hung together and chill together, you know what I mean? And all you got to do is be like, "Nah, dude, you hear someone saying something? Stop. Wait till I'm out the room. I don't want to hear nothing." And I feel like the way that the environment has been shown to us to have been, people respect that. Like, "Oh, you don't want to hear that? Cool. Get out of here because we're going to have a conversation." You get out.
But once
3 count.
That's cool. That was before it hit the media machine. They don't know how to let things go. So they're going to, like, I already see this happening because you have all this positive news that happened at the same time. At some point, someone's going to ask Triple H. At some point, someone's going to act the Rock.
So they did after the press conference. The press conference after the Rumble, it got brought up.
I didn't see that. Okay.
It got brought up, and he's like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. We're going to focus on the good. There's good going on. We're not talking about what happened in the past under different management. And here's the thing I look at with Triple H.
Going to come out? Like, this is because once you get into that realm, do you think there's any? Because we already talked about like Ric Flair's of the world and stuff. Roddy, you know what I mean? We talked about some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How much more can you see coming from this? Because
just think about
it can open the
the Attitude Era that what we grew up on. Think about how wild and crazy it was, and then you're going to start thinking about how much of that was like Vince created a lot of that. How much of that was like real?
We talked about like the sex in the ring thing. Like, what the hell is going on?
I would not be surprised if we find out that Ed. Like, think about how that all started from.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Edge and Lita hooked up. Lita was with Matt Hardy. Real life. This wasn't gimmick.
Yeah.
This was real life.
Real life.
Lita's with Matt Hardy. She cheats on Matt Hardy with Edge. They get into a fight. Vince sees it, eats it all up, says, we're going to make this into a storyline, right? They do the whole thing. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Vince, like, pitched that live sex exhibition.
Oh, no, that was definitely his idea.
He's like, you should fuck her.
Yes.
Right on USA. They'll hate that. Ha!
And now, like, you remember when we talked about the R. Kelly songs?
Yep.
Like, after you know what you know, now you're going back to them greatest hits, and you're like, oh, shit. So there's so many scenes now. Like, there's so many memes.
Think about, like, Vince Kiss My Ass Club.
Yeah. All of that now. It's like, oh, fuck. Oh, my God.
Think about the thing with him and Trish Stratus, the whole story that he was cheating on Linda with Trish.
And you know what's crazy? They say, like, this is what I mean about complicit eyes. This is why we can't take everything for surface layer of just being entertainment all the time. Sometimes it is okay to say, like, that joke was a little awkward. When there's a series of them, because now that we actually look in retrospect now, if this is real, let's fuck the if shit. We know that happened because they signed the NDA, everything.
Right.
What we have to debate about is the efficacy of the process between what they set up.
And I will say this, there are questions, like when I look at some of this, you look at some of the text messages, like I don't know Vince, but so I look at him like, did Vince really write some of this? Like the misspellings and the poor grammar. I don't know, maybe not.
I mean, the guy who said it came out the trailer park. Maybe he, I know a lot of millionaires can't spell shit.
But I do fair. But he came up.
You ain't see Mayweather like
he's a rich New York Connecticut
No.
guy.
I know. Yeah, I'm joking.
You know what I mean? Like he's not the.
But fuck that guy. Fuck you, bro. You can't spell. Fuck you, nigga.
All I'm saying is there's a lot of stuff in there that to me kind of sounds suspect. Like,
yeah, but that's how it always is. I mean, look at the Jonathan Major shit. We saw this motherfucker running down the street.
You want me to believe that Vince McMahon was trying to sign Brock Lesnar, and the thing that pulled him over the edge, got him to actually sign, was a video of this girl pissing. Fuck out of here.
No, listen. No, let me talk to my brother real quick. I think the part that like we hit a fork in the road is that I've seen this with people with money.
Okay.
People with money. You like once you attain a certain amount of wealth, you know this, you've heard this before, but you heard it from sane people. Nobody thinks about the psychos that got to a certain amount of money. And you're bored. You will do some stupid shit. I've seen it. I guess
I get it. It's like Brock doesn't.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need it.
He's like, I'm
just gonna fuck with you.
For me? Yeah. I'll sign. You really made that girl piss for me? I'll sign this contract.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen it, bro. Like, I've seen it. I just did a presentation for young children earlier today at the school, and I explained to them, I was living the life that I thought that I wanted. I thought was my purpose. I was on the road with all these big names, hip-hop artists and everything. I seen shit in green rooms that I didn't want to be complicit. So I left. I did what I didn't do it like most folks do and just say, oh, I'm making good money, I'm going to stay here. No, right. Once the environment got to the point, everybody who knows me and knows what I was doing, Mia was at my arm and everything. Mm-hmm. And then you probably realize, now that I'm saying this to you, you'll realize there was a point where I stopped bringing her with me. Mm-hmm. Because of what was going on back there. And these niggas ain't Vince McMahon rich.
Right.
So if you're rich with some fetishes, bro.
This dude had dildos named after wrestlers.
Bobby Lashley's and shit, bro. Like, he really liked The Rock. Like, this shit's crazy, bro.
He really liked The Rock. Yo, and so
I feel you, though, but...
Hey, the rumor innuendo of that is that he would, like, pretend that he was that superstar
Yes.
with the name dildo. You like it when The Rock fucks you like that, huh? Oh, you love The Rock's cock, don't you?
Doing the Macho Man voice, like, come on, bro. He's like, I'm the Macho Man, ready, set. Oh yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, it's the funny part is too, is I've learned actually, and think about this. Think about what I'm about to say. The more outlandish it sounds, like think about the Johnny Depp case. When we were hearing it, like, there's no way this lady pooped. That was another poop situation.
Right.
And we're all like, no way. Wow. Then as you go further and further, you're like, yo, she really did that, bro. She really pooped.
You're right.
These rich people be bugging, dog. Regular people be bugging. So rich people that have means, access, resource, and power, he had an entire universe at his fingertips. So it takes a certain level of integrity to not be corrupted by that.
But here's what I think. I think people navigated it well. So you're wondering how what the backlash is going to be on people. I think people, especially the people that are there now, they navigated this very well.
Yeah.
Triple H moved himself from it. And when you look at it, there's a lot of things that are now being pointed out that make you look at it and say, oh, word. So I'm going to read this real quick. PW Insider reports that there's a belief in WWE that Endeavor may sweep out anyone close to Vince McMahon.
I read that.
His remaining team in order to have a complete fresh start for the company going forward.
That was a good move.
There were employees who exited the company when Vince initially resigned, who returned when he forced his way back in.
Yes.
For those who have remained with WWE post-Endeavor purchase, the belief among those spoken with is their connection to McMahon may be a major negative going forward for their WWE status.
Yeah.
There are some in WWE hoping Vince McMahon's resignation opens the door for Stephanie McMahon to return. Although others spoken to caution that it's not the same company that existed before Endeavor took over ownership, so how she might potentially fit back in would not be immediately known. Here's my thing. She was on the board. She stepped off the board when Vince came back.
I remember that. Correct.
Right? So she removed herself. And then look, here's a thing that was pointed out that I didn't catch me until I read it. I was like, oh shit, didn't think of that. So when Triple H, and I don't know how much you know about this part of it, so Triple H, when he was in charge of NXT for a while, right, he started putting all of his people in position. William Regal, Road Dogg, he had a bunch of guys that he signed that were like his guys. And then he had an issue with his heart. They had to leave for a little bit. He had to go. He was out gone for like 3 months.
Wow, okay.
So Vince fired all of Triple H's people. Put in his people. He put in Shawn Michaels there, who's still like one of Vince's, even though he's a Triple H guy, it's still Vince's guy.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So, and put in a few other people. And looking back at it, this was purposely done when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you guys aren't with me and what I do.
Yep.
Right? So I don't want your people in charge here. I'm going to get, you're not here? Cool, I'm firing all your boys.
Firing everybody.
All your boys are gone.
See you later.
See you when you come back, but your boys are gone.
Because, I mean, so you see how, like, there is a certain level of canceling that has to be done? Like, the people, if you're going to cut the cancer out, you got to get the cells out, too. And, like, there's some people that clearly were in that, like, who was the other party in that threesome? If he's one of them people that you brought back, you gotta go.
I think it was John Laurinaitis.
Oh, shit.
People power.
Don't be saying names.
Well, his name was mentioned in the whole thing.
I'm just playing around.
His name was mentioned in that whole thing. So, I mean, Johnny Ace.
So, again, I wonder, like, that was a good statement. That was a good move to make, but they can only say that. Legally, they can't really do nothing until the litigation's done. Right. Because then the person can sue you and be like, you're discriminating. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're firing me because he was a bad guy?
Right.
So they got to figure out how to, like, legally do that. Like, I don't know how that works. Maybe through, like, some integrity clause. There has to be some. Put it like this. If they made that announcement, then I'm assuming that there's much more that they know to be able to make that announcement so securely.
Well, here's the thing. They fire people all the time.
That's true.
Wrestlers get fired all the time. Like, you're in the contract, they just get fired. We're firing you.
Yep.
You got 90 day not compete. You got 90 day no compete, and we're gonna pay you a little bit of cash for it. That's it. Get out. So you could easily get rid of these guys, and it'll probably happen. I see Triple H starting to clean house and getting rid of some people. And here's the thing. I think that This is why I thought Steph did it. So I'm going to swing all the way back around to that because it kind of like set it all up.
Damn, when she left and everything too. That
right. So think about this. Right? So all of a sudden, this stuff leaks out that Vince was involved in this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he steps down from WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Steph comes in and takes a position. Boom, boom, boom. Business as usual. Vince comes back to sell the company because Vince thinks his boy Ari, whatever his name is from
Emmanuel.
Yeah, Ari Emanuel. That's his boy. I'm gonna sell this to Endeavor.
Correct.
We're gonna be good. I'm still gonna have my peace, and they're gonna put me back in power.
Yep.
And then what? What do they do now? Because then I get put back in power by my boy.
Yep.
So he takes the board position. Like Stephanie steps down because she's pissed that he's even coming back and being involved in this, right?
Yeah.
They form TKO, right? Put Vince on the board. Vince thinks, as soon as he was put on the board, he started dipping his fingers in to Raw, NXT, SmackDown, calling, making phone calls like, hey, you guys got to change this. You got to do this.
Yeah.
And Ari Emanuel, who's higher than him on the totem pole, was like, hey, nah, that's not your job. This is your job.
Slow it down. Yeah,
you do this.
Yeah.
That's Triple H's job.
Yep.
You're not, don't do that. That's not how this works.
Stay out of this.
Your job is here in the office. This is what you do. You do these things. That's all not you anymore. Don't touch it. And I know Vince didn't like that. Absolutely didn't like that. But I think that that's kind of how this all went down. And I wouldn't be surprised if this girl came out and did this because they went to her.
Yeah, because something had to happen. Correct. That's a great. I like that.
They bring in the Rock. They bring in the Rock ahead of time. All of a sudden, like they signed up. They asked the Rock to come in, and then all of a sudden, 3 days later, this whole thing.
Whoever got the snowball rolling had to have some level of insulation.
Yeah,
and she's the only one.
Right.
Especially because, like you said, when he
starts it,
and you know what,
protects them all.
How did you say? When I remember when
the one that starts it.
It's over.
You can't come and be like, listen, we're getting rid of Triple H because he's married to Stephanie.
Yeah.
No, I'm the one that brought this all out.
Yes, correct.
I brought this out
because
I knew my dad was doing this. My brother left the company and went and started his own business in Japan that has nothing to do with wrestling because of my dad. That's why he's not part of this company.
Yeah.
So I feel like sooner than later you'll see Stephanie and probably Shane come back and have their hands back into WWE because here's my side. Here's the other side of it. I feel like it's TKO, right? Yeah, you could go completely different, create your own thing and make this yours now and just like get rid of all of that McMahon touch to it.
Yeah.
But let's be real. McMahon touch was golden. Everything that he did turned to gold. They made billions. He turned this like little company that was a territory company to a global phenomenon, right? And taught his kids who he brought up in the business, right? So they get that side of it, right? So it's a benefit to them to take these two who are part of this company, that started the company, right? And say, we want you involved somehow in the running of things. Fuck your dad.
Okay, but here's the problem. Here's Vince's biggest problem in that. And here's why, if they wanted to erase him, it wouldn't be hard. Because his biggest chunk of his legacy is in the non-digital era. You're dealing with a new generation. If I just leave the VHS in the vault, it's in the vault. And then over time, I can cancel you without canceling you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get that.
So I don't have to make an announcement or make it look malicious. I just don't have to put it in front of people's eyes anymore.
Yeah, but I think you can't do that. Like I said, I think he has too much. Like, think about it. Vince McMahon was an announcer.
I agree. I understand what you're saying. But I also think that you have that possibility of doing that now because you're ushering this. What I just watched that as a person who's been out for 10 years, away from it. Now, I'm giving you an outside-in perspective. What I just watched with you guys was an entirely different wrestling experience than I had before.
Right.
Now, let's just think of that as a new consumer, because the people that you're going to be worried about are actually in your age group, our demo.
Right.
But the people younger than us, they're not attached to it as much as we are. They're not, these motherfuckers ain't studying history right now. So our perspective on it right now is because we're older.
Yeah.
But their main consuming market right now that they have in that young pool might not care because they're not digitally
we do
going
live in
back.
an age where they like have no problem just deleting history.
Especially if it was in the analog era. You can easily blank the analog era. And most of his time is in the analog era. We'll never be able to get rid of the Vince memes online, the shit that translated into digital. We'll never be able to, they'll never be able to touch that. But that's the crazy, I don't have to touch anything. It's hard to even find a lot of that stuff.
Right.
That they vaulted. So what exists is already out there that's in the digital space. All I have to do is make sure no more analog makes it to the digital and then let that shit die out and it happens on its own.
But it's all there in the network. The network has everything.
Yeah.
The network's got everything.
But so that's what we got to pay attention to. How they move on the network. If they vault things on the network, you know what I'm saying?
I think that would be nuts. I mean, they could just get rid of everything and just like have.
But we also in a space where, hey, yo, bro, like people understand where we are with technology. You can't canceling you. You know what's even worse than vaulting you?
What?
It's telling AI to go just remove you from all the scenes and then still keep the product.
True.
And that's what they can do now. This is where we are. You can be poofed.
But again, I feel like
I don't feel like
he was too center of a piece to get rid of.
No, I hear you.
But again, I feel like here's one of these situations. Like I said with Hulk Hogan, you have to differentiate as hard as it is.
Yeah.
Because we know his character was just I want to say a jacked up version of him, like a pumped up version of him. But now that we're like hearing everything coming out, the Mr. McMahon character is a toned down version of the
guy,
that Vince McMahon is.
Toned down is crazy, bro.
Version of the real Vince
crazy.
McMahon.
Oh. I hope you would just let me do this. Listen, we have a resident guy that we get on every week. And this is just 1 week where I just want to say, hey, man, keep doing coke, my guy. Just stay at that level, though, Tony Khan. Because apparently you can't get a show to make sense for shit over there. But ain't none of this shit came out, bro. So keep sniffing, bro.
I mean, listen. Let's be real about because let's be real about this. When you're doing a lot of coke like that, I'm sure there's some stories that we just haven't happened to come out yet.
Hangover nights.
I'm just saying. I'm expecting him to come out with a statement this week.
Bro, I was expecting it as soon as it was announced. I was literally on his Twitter. Bro, this is how bad he's got me. I was literally on his fucking Twitter. Like, I know he's gonna post something. I was waiting like a crackhead, bro. This shit was ridiculous.
Oh, he's saving it. He's gonna have a special announcement. That dude.
Man.
But he's one. Like, let's look at Vince McMahon, right?
Yeah.
And go back to Vince McMahon. Back then, he wasn't like really crazy coked out. He was steroided out. Yeah.
Same thing. And that's what I mean about that era too, because like
young Vince.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy? You know what's so crazy? The craziest thing is to me, listen, I'm an extremist in the sense of like, if I'm gonna be the hero, I'm gonna be the hero. But if I'm gonna be the bad guy and I'm thinking about like how to effectively be maniacal, you have to be a different level of egomaniac when you saw Dark Side of the Ring starting to come out and think your shit wasn't going to come and you weren't doing what you needed to do to make sure that it didn't. I'm just saying, if I'm going to be evil, I have to be cunning too.
Right.
You had time.
Right.
Once the first Dark Side of the Ring dropped, I'm like, oh shit, NDAs for everybody. I'm paying, what do you need? Here you go, pay it out. I got it.
What so, Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
He's in trouble for an NDA that just recently leaked.
Really? No, I didn't know
Which is funny. So the ongoing joke about that, if you've watched, you've started watching Dark Side of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've noticed, Chris Jericho is the narrator.
No.
Yeah, he's the narrator is Chris Jericho.
Oh my God, now I hear it.
Yep.
And you know what's crazy? I was listening, I was like, I know this voice.
Yep. It's Chris Jericho.
Wow.
But so here's the funny question. Is Chris Jericho going to narrate his own Dark Side of the Ring?
Wow. No.
He's got a few things. He's got that.
Again,
the whole
problematic.
Thing with his wife. You know his wife, right?
Yeah.
You know what happened with his wife?
No.
His wife was a insurrectionist. His wife was at January.
She was at the...
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
And then the NDA stuff came out after that.
Damn, son. That's a bad hit, bro. So here's the crazy... Again, I need y'all to understand that we are now living in a sci-fi movie. If Chris Jericho happened to be dumb enough to sell the rights to his voice to that, right? They'll just AI his voice.
Oh my God.
They have
I didn't
AI
even think of
Jericho
that.
narrate Jericho's
Oh my
dark side of
God.
the ring, bro. This is where we are, guys. We are living in total recall, guys. Wake up.
You know what I wonder? So if they do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does he narrate it as him, like as himself, and acknowledge, like, and then I,
And then and then still get royalties. This shit's crazy.
oh man, nuts! I don't even know. It's this whole thing's wild. But again, so this is something that's been going on. Like, look at some of these other people that got canceled. Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
You know, he was one that guy was going to be a star.
Yeah.
Right? He got canceled because first there was a whole thing with the kid, but they couldn't really prove it.
Yep.
And then he had cameras in the locker room. They found out he was just like recording people. People were like, well, this is kind of creepy. Get out of here.
Stupid. Just ridiculous. That's what I'm talking about. Like people, like I said before, one of my mentors, man, sometimes I forget the stupid side, but I always remember the greedy statement. He said, never underestimate the stupidity or the greed of the next person. And sometimes I always forget the stupid one.
Right.
And I'm like, so when I see stuff, I'm like, no, I can believe it.
Right. Seriously.
Prove it. That's why even with the stuff that I've been putting out on the multiverse, I've still been putting allegedly in there and all of that good stuff because, like, you don't know how this thing is all going to roll out. But for now, we're going to have fun with it because, I mean, it's out there. It's out there. The court document's public. So it's like, you can't expect people to not banter about it when it's public.
But again, look at all the other stuff. Look at Joey Ryan. I don't know if you looked up who Joey Ryan is. Look up Joey Ryan.
Look it up.
You can actually look. He had a show, WrestleMania weekends. You know, he said WrestleMania week. There's all kind of indie shows that go on.
Yeah,
and they're all different ones. Like Effie has Effie's Big Gay Brunch.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Janela has Joey Janela's Spring Break. Well, Joey Ryan had Joey Ryan's Penis Party.
Oh,
that was his show.
All right.
It was insane. I did a review of it on geekshavegame.com.
Oh, wow.
Little self-plug if you want to go read an article. I got a whole article on that show. But Joey Ryan's whole shtick is that he's just this, like, his shtick is basically he's a predator. And I don't know how no one noticed
I'm looking at it, yeah.
Like, his finishing moves were a boobplex, where he came behind, like, he wrestled a lot of intergender matches. So he would come behind the female, reach underneath, grab her boobs, and then give her a German suplex.
Oh, wow.
The boobplex.
We was letting this rock?
And then his other finisher was the world's strongest dick.
Wow.
He would, Brent, I paused for you to, like, get that. He would take your hand, put it on his dick.
Oh, wow.
And then he would flex, right? He flexes.
Oh,
and then you gotta fall to the ground because his dick's so hard. His dick's so hard. You're like, you get down to your knees, you're like, no.
Hey, yo.
And then he goes like this and just like shifts, and his dick flips you. So you flip yourself and slam yourself onto your back because his dick, while you're still grabbing his junk the whole time, and you flip and slam onto your back.
So I'm glad I missed this part of wrestling.
And then he pins you, and that's how he wins the match.
I'm glad I missed this part.
But people were surprised this guy was a predator.
Disneyland employed a pro wrestler accused of sexual harassment. 2022, former pro wrestler Joey Ryan,
whatever, he's off doing.
who has faced several accusations of sexual misconduct, worked briefly on the Jungle Cruise before he was. Damn, it's rough out here, guys. Like, man, yo, listen, man, guys, gentlemen, listen to me. Tap in. Chill out, and don't listen to me. This is the part that fucks me up. This is what really messes me up. Vince, everybody's kink is not everybody's kink. But you're just lazy. Because there's a whole genre of chicks out here that don't mind getting shit on. Just do things with people that like to do the things you want to do.
But I think that girl liked it. I don't think that was the whole thing. I think his issue was more of the fact that he's messing with girls. Don't bring the girl into your workplace and hire her to work for you. Like, bring that girl in the back. Like, just take her somewhere else that has nothing to do with work. You don't have to be making her pee for Brock Lesnar. You don't have to be making her have sex with John Laurinaitis. What? This girl wants you to shit on her and have a threesome? Go in some shady hotel somewhere. Go to near Foxwoods. You're in Connecticut. Go somewhere near Foxwoods. Get a little sketchy hotel there. And go shit in this girl's hair with your friend. But don't bring it to the workplace.
As long as she likes it.
As long as she likes it. Right back. And to me, that girl liked it. I don't care. There's nothing you can
I'm
say.
not going to go that far, guys.
There's nothing you can say that
I wasn't there.
She doesn't like it. She would have to tell me to my face, and I would still tell her. If she was right here, if she was on this show right now, I said, no, I don't like that. I would say, you're lying. Like, yeah.
I'm not going to go that far because I'll tell you this. I know scenarios. Again, I've been on the road. I've known scenarios where girls acted like they did and then did that walk of shame the next day. Because it's like when you're around a certain level of influence and power and money, it happens. I see it happen to guys too. It's just a different kind of dynamic. And, you know,
is it though? Is it though?
Don't make me go there. Don't make me go there. That's true. That's true. But in the atypical form, that person, the guy becomes your lackey. The girl becomes your, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's how that shit works a lot of the time. So like, again, I can't assume that she did or didn't. We haven't gotten that far as far as her saying it. And I can't wait to hear more because I'm sure that there's going to be a Good Morning America interview and all that crap coming eventually. Because the news cycle's not going to let it die down. They always need something to mess with. So.
I think you tell her, listen, shut up, and we'll give you the rest of your money.
But not, because see now, that's why you should just give, if you had an arrangement and she honored that arrangement, honor your side. Because now she's just trying to go for more. And why wouldn't she?
Mm-hmm.
You put her in a position, you change the...
Yeah, but they're just going to
leverage. Yeah, but she's going to get a little more, that's all.
Sure.
She's just going to get a little more.
He's going to pay her and she's going to go away.
Yeah.
It's going to go away.
Yeah.
We won't hear any more of it.
Yeah.
They'll have to figure something out. My question is, for TKO, how do you force him out of his stocks?
You can't.
Right.
You can't.
That's
that.
So you can't effectively actually get rid of Vince McMahon. He's not a majority owner.
You can't do that.
But he does have a very large portion of shares of that company.
And practically, I don't see him giving it up. So,
no, I bet you could get him to give him to his family. You're gonna have to give it to your kids.
You can, if Stephanie's the one that leaked it. If Stephanie's the catalyst, because you just said give it to your family. That is your family. And if they're the ones that put you out there, let it go, bro. Let it go. Let it go.
You want it to stay in the McMahon name and the McMahon family. We'll let it.
Then give it to us.
Give it to them.
Yeah.
Give it to Stephanie or give it to Shane.
And that's where I do agree with you. Like, again, when you're rich, especially if you're rich and white and fucking stupid, I can't really feel nothing about that. Like, you're just fucking dumb. Like, you got all the boxes checked in the bag, and you're willing to put yourself in this position and not cross your T's and dot your I's. Cool, that's your problem.
They all do it, right?
But yes, they do. A lot of them do. I can't say all. A lot of them do.
A lot of them do. Bob Kraft going to
Bob Kraft getting his little handy over in Florida. You know what I'm saying?
He could have went to a way more reputable place that would have been.
Man, listen, I was just watching Gil's Arena, and this is a YouTube show that's on all the time. No knock. But they were openly talking about like how NBA players travel. We know this. We ignore it. We know that the tour bus is still, the team bus is still getting beat down. Mm-hmm. We know this right now.
Yep.
When the playoffs hit, we know what time it is.
Playoffs?
We know what it was like at the NFC Championship.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
We just don't want to admit it. We just don't want to admit it because we're not willing to do shit about it.
Right. Or unless someone wants to say something.
We love to be outraged.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right. The moment we can be outraged.
Ooh. Like, nigga, I know your dirty ass cousin.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm living in a city where these fools, let me tell you how crazy the world is. We had a situation out here. This is why I'm a very engaged father. Fathers, you are the first line of defense. Be engaged. Because this young woman right here didn't have a daddy. And that might have helped in this situation for her to have the lesson to know, I need to leave right now. If she didn't like it. If she did, whatever. Point is.
Wait, I want to go off of that before you continue with that.
Yeah,
I want to steal your thought.
No, not at all.
But think about this, too. You can say, well, her father wasn't there, but this is where you're going with the be present, because if he was a good father from the get, he would have instilled that in her.
Correct.
It wouldn't have been something that, like,
it wouldn't have been on the table.
Right. It wouldn't have been on the table if he was a father to her. So when I just want to clarify that when you're saying be there as a father, she didn't have a father. We know that her father died.
Correct.
But that's
correct.
not what we're
Not
talking
saying
about.
that.
We're not
Yes.
talking about her
Yes.
father was dead.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Yes, not saying that. But just saying, if you are here, if you're alive in the flesh, and you can be engaged, if you can be nothing else, be visible. Because studies have shown that children get preyed on way less when a father is visible. Nobody wants to deal with that. But I also will say, though, there has been another study that has shown that more kids are getting victimized with dads around because you look like a bitch. You don't even look like you're going to protect your family. So remember that that's a responsibility to impose your will on making sure everybody knows I'm not just a provider, I'm a protector. That's still a role. But let me move on. So let me give you an example. Right here in our own city, there was a kid that was going to start a dance school. Everybody's sharing this post about this kid starting a dance school. A mother goes on there and says, how are you guys supporting this guy going to do a dance school when he was just charged for exposing himself and sending pictures to my son?
Right. Oh, I remember that.
Right?
Like not too long ago.
Hold on, wait. There's more. So what do you expect the public response to be? When a mother has shown that she did all the procedures she was supposed to do to make sure that her child's protected, let people know that needed to know, this guy's opening a dance school, and you're telling me other people went on there to defend him.
And here's the crazy thing. And I know this is more for your show, but this is the topic tonight.
But it's,
we're going to get into this.
It's
Here's the thing. I feel like this is a slippery slope that came with all of this. Let people be who they are and do what they do. And I said this. I said this from the rip. I said this is gonna be a slippery slope. When are you gonna get to the point when it's like, oh well, it's not their fault that they like to touch little kids?
Yeah, I've seen this whole little movement. I'm like, well, it's not my hand slip, bang. Oh, it's not my fault. Right. It's my involuntary reflex to smoke a pedophile. This is the
slippery slope that we went down with. I mean,
yeah, correct.
And again. That brings us full circle into this whole wrestling conversation, right?
Yep.
Because this is part of what the whole atmosphere is becoming.
That's what I meant. Yes,
like
it's like all of that.
The whole wrestling is for everybody thing brought in a lot of people closer into wrestling that probably shouldn't have been all about being involved in wrestling, because wrestling wasn't for everybody. Wrestling was a dark back alley, trailer park shit fest, literally, apparently.
But I hear you, right?
People got into that shouldn't have been in it, and all they did was open themselves up to be preyed on by the predators that were already in it. And I'm not saying it makes it okay. I'm not saying it, well, just leave the predators to do predator things. No, but these things, like, I don't think a girl like this, I could be completely wrong, but I just don't feel like a girl like this gets involved in that situation a couple decades ago. But maybe so, because Vince was, like you said, people with power tend to pull people in. I don't know the whole relationship he had with her parents. Like, were they friends? And that's how he ended up saying, hey, let me bring you. I don't know that side of it. So there could be way more. There could be other layers to this that we'll never know.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just think in general, these doors opened more once we started pushing the wrestling is for everybody, and everybody should be able to be a part of this. And I mean, if I'm a predator, I'm all for that. Yeah, wrestling's for everybody.
But then and under that same mentality, you wouldn't have been a wrestling fan. You're not from the trailer park, bro. If I keep it insulated, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I get that.
I have to open it, but I need to make sure that before I think the key was because you're going to expand. If you're going to scale, then you need to do the maintenance before you scale.
Right.
That's all. I feel you. You just got to do the maintenance before you scale.
This dark closet.
It was just like, oh, Johnny's bones. It's fucking a graveyard in here. Come on in, guys. Come on. I'm going to piss in your skull. Get in here. Like, what the fuck is going on? So you got to, if you're going to scale and you know that you have to clean house first. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there's no I'm happy that, wrestling let me in, for me to be a Sting fan, for me to sit down. We was talking about Diamond Dallas Page and the massive turn he made and all of this stuff that we was talking about while watching the Rumble. So I'm happy that wrestling has opened up, but I agree with you that there should have been something there to be like, all right, but we're opening up now. That means there's more eyes. So what was our little clique cannot exist. We have to disperse this and get things balanced. But I think that's what this is. It's late, but it has to be. Because now I'm looking at the news different. The timing of everything, the TKO announcement, the Rock you better get that motherfucker's name. Like, what you mean?
Right.
Everybody better be going to get their name right now. I'm like, yo, hold on. Okay, let me give you rumor and innuendo. What did Rock know? Because, no, think about what I'm saying. You're the first wrestler in history to get your name a part of that. The deal was big enough. What do you know? I'm just playing the game.
I don't think that was it. I think it was just kind of like I said. Think about what I just discussed there. They needed him. It wasn't about the money for him.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I don't need that. No.
But that's what I mean.
Why
so
don't I come on the board? They're like, well, your name's The Rock.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, word, I'll bail you guys out. If you're gonna give me my name, The Rock. I can make all my
I can see that. Like, I'll save you guys. They won't even know Vince was here. I'll come to WrestleMania.
Right. They'll forget all about it. I'll come up, do the people's eyebrows.
Soon as you try to save Vince, you just hear the Rock's music come on.
Right. It doesn't
matter. That's what they said it did at the press conference. Anytime they bring him up from now on, it doesn't matter what Vince did. He's a jabroni.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
It's nuts, though, when you look at it, but it does all make sense, right?
It does.
This was something that was kind of like...
But we've seen this. NFL, NBA, MLB, we've seen it. It's industry. The UFC is going to have it soon. The fucked up part is the UFC has it going on. They just don't even care. The news story comes out. Dana's so like, fuck it. The fuck that fighters. I don't give a fuck.
Right. Look at these guys.
Remember when Israel Adesanya got into a whole thing with the white dude, Drakus, who's a South African fighter, but he's white. He's like, I'm the real nigga. So the people asked Dana after, was like, how do you feel about Israel Adesanya saying nigga? He's like, ain't he black? He's like, I can understand. He's like, next question. What the fuck are we talking about?
Hey, you know what though? Dana White, genius for that, because he's like, listen, he's black, right? I ain't got nothing to say about something a black guy said. Like, don't ask me.
Do you, dog? I actually do think that Dana has played. I mean, even during the pandemic, he played it smart. You know what I mean? He was one of the few entertainment things that he actually capitalized. The brand grew because he stayed in the park and kept entertaining, using the Apex Center, all of that shit.
Think about this. This whole thing with TKO.
Did wrestling shut down during the pandemic?
I don't think they shut. Maybe like a week, but they had they did everything inside. They had like this whole thing.
So
and
they had the same thing. Got it.
They had TV screen.
Got it.
Right, and you could sign on. It was actually funny at first because you could sign on and be sitting here at home, and they let like a certain amount of people on every show. And they had screens up in the arena.
Okay.
And you pop up on the screen.
Wow.
That shit went okay for a little while.
Yeah, I'm about to say then it got crazy.
Until people were like, oh shit, we got our TV tonight, let's go.
You know that was gonna happen.
Yeah, you have people doing dumb shit on TV and they're like, yo, shit, what are we gonna do now? You see that guy back there, row 5, right over to the right? Yeah. Oh,
yo, I want to say as a married
Thunderdome, they call it.
As a married person, I look at my wife all the time and say, thank God I'm not out in these streets, bro. Because I couldn't be dealing with, like, growing up and living in a world where you have to have an NDA, all this other shit to deal with people, like, bro, I'm just going to the Bunny Ranch in Vegas every week. I don't have time for this shit. Like, I can't even fathom, like, relationships up and down the scale, doesn't matter, socioeconomic. Just is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, not even relationships. I would say that these literally are partnerships.
I feel like NDAs are going to go away, though.
It's getting out of control. It's ridiculous. They're almost losing their solvency when people can just go around them anyway. Well,
let's talk about this part of it, right? Like 75% of females are now all over OnlyFans anyway. So I've seen your ass. So I don't. What do you need an NDA for? Just get your OnlyFans. I'll see everything. It's there anyway. You probably posted it.
It's wild, bro.
Probably posted it for $75 and you watch it.
Be in the grocery store
That's
like,
nuts.
What the fuck? Like, it's wild, bro. It's wild. I stay away from there. I run. Yo, the reason, this is why, God bless me, I'm old, bro. I have had free porn. I'm not paying for shit.
Right, I don't
what
get
the
that.
fuck? I'm like, OnlyFans, Pornhub. See you later, guys.
Right,
I'm not paying for shit.
These girls that be like on social media all up in here, hey, you sign up for my this?
They be soliciting.
No.
I'm like, how is this not prostitution?
Right, Snapchat. You know how many people I don't get that because I be reporting. I'll tell you right now.
It's I be reporting.
I report you on Snapchat. If you send me some dumb ass snap, hey baby, meet up $200. I'll send you a whole thing of all my photos for. I'm reporting. You reported right away. Reported. I ain't got time for you.
Report and scroll.
I go on porn. Like you said, it's free porn everywhere.
Everywhere. This we talked about this before. We're not strip club guys. It's like, what the hell is this? I'm paying for a 3-hour tease? Like, I'm going home to my wife. I'll throw these ones at the missus. Like, go ahead, girl, get it. Get it, girl. Yeah. You gonna make me some cookies after this? Woo!
Sex and cookies. Sex and cookies. Meanwhile, you're throwing up.
Correct. Yo,
So,
we're going to debate about this. I know we're going to debate about it. Can we get into the Rumble?
yeah. It's a lighter note.
Correct. we usually end heavy. We had to get this out the way today.
Oh yeah.
We literally had to get this out of our system, pun intended. We had to let that one loose. Oh man. Yo, damn. Hold on, time out. All right, 1 second before we go deep, because you just said a fine deep. Yo, what was this nigga? He was definitely taking his Metamucil, talking about it drip down.
Right,
He didn't even drop a solid log, bro.
But this is what I'm saying. Like some of it, I'm like, how real is this? Was it really like that? Like,
I mean, he's at the age when you drop a Metamucil shit. That's a Metamucil shit.
Yes. It's weird. That's just weird to me, though.
I wouldn't know. I don't fucking.
Let me ask you this before we wrap up and move off that topic.
Yes.
What do you think should be the result of this? Because that's what I'm so confused about. So he stepped down from TKO. I get that. You're not allowed to come back. Don't come. We don't want to see you anywhere near anything that we're doing in the public eye. Other than that, what do you do?
I mean, that's it.
I feel like, but I think like
now
people
it's
want
just
more.
entertainment. No, you know how that goes, bro. Like people get a taste. It's like sharks in the water. They get a little taste. They're gonna frenzy for a little bit, but once the water dissipates and dilutes, they'll go back.
I think people want him to face criminal charges because part of the charges are sex trafficking.
Yeah, let's
touch on the sex trafficking part before we wrap up with that, because that to me is nuts, and I get the actual definition. The definition is if I solicit sex from another person, and then have them have sex with someone else instead of me.
Yeah.
That's technically
one form.
trafficking.
So I've been I live a crazy life, and I've been to a few trafficking advocacy and learned like the different parameters. And it doesn't matter if he does it or not. Once the transaction if the transaction's one-on-one, it's not. But once you took that transaction, even if you just paid for the one-on-one and then you threw this guy in as a bonus, it's still a part of the original transaction.
So does that make it trafficking?
Yes. Yep. The reason why this had to start happening is because it was just like when you have somebody on the block selling drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Drug dealers started getting smart, so they just had somebody else do the hand-in-hands.
Right.
But so now when they lock the person up for that transaction, no, they're going to get the dealer and the handoff all under, it's like a RICO. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, kind of.
But this is the problem, because it is a slippery slope. We're in an age and era where if you have anything sexual against you, and then that includes more people, trafficking's going to get labeled on it. It's just the way it is now.
Yeah,
it sucks.
That's kind of wild. That's kind of wild.
It sucks. It does, because think about it. You can be an 18-year-old kid just in a wild night. You know what I mean? And once you get that trafficking on you, it's a wrap. You know what I mean? Like that's
right.
It's a wrap. And think about it. Trafficking, just because he got accused of trafficking doesn't mean he has to register as a predator. But it's treated the same by society standard.
Yes.
So, but here's the thing. We also know, like in legal systems, they'll throw it all at you. And then eventually, I think the trafficking is going to get dropped.
Yeah, because to me, I feel like
it's not Epstein trafficking. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like
as far as we know,
as far as we know,
right? As far as we know, I think if it really does go anywhere, like if we get actual criminal charges that they go after out of this, right? I think things are going to have to come out then, right? Things will have to come out. We'll have to look at the beginning of all this. Yeah. And I think that we're going to find that this girl was complacent from the beginning and knew what she was signing up for. And they're going to find out, oh, wait, so you agreed to come work and have sex with everybody? Like, that was what you came to do?
But then the conversation, again, goes back to the hardest thing to prove is coercion.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have money, you never have the public on your side. If I'm broke, I have a bigger chance of, like, the corner pimp.
Yeah, but public opinion isn't going to matter in this because Vince McMahon's lawyer isn't going to allow this to go in front of a jury. This is going to be judged, and he's going to play like
settled,
strict law.
Of course. But I'm talking about the public opinion side because I don't think he's going to be charged with anything criminal.
But I don't think public opinion is going to matter. He's gone.
Yeah. That's why I said it's going to die out. I don't think he's going to be charged with anything criminal. No.
Do you think they'll try to?
No. I think that he made his immediate step down. Didn't help. If he really felt like he didn't do nothing, then he wouldn't have stepped down.
Well, I mean, did you hear his actual statement from it? He kind of said, he didn't say that he didn't do anything, but he said it was blown out of proportion.
I get it. Like, it's consensual. He feels like it was consensual.
I stand by my prior statement that Mrs. Grant's lawsuit is replete with lies, obscene made-up instances that never occurred, and is a vindictive distortion of the truth. I intend to vigorously defend myself against these baseless accusations and look forward to clearing my name. However, out of respect for the WWE Universe, the extraordinary TKO business and its board members and shareholders, partners and constituents, and all the employees and superstars who helped make WWE into the global leader it is today, I have decided to resign from my executive chairmanship and the TKO board of directors effective immediately. So I really think that Vince is saying, listen, this didn't happen. Like,
but hold on.
I didn't shit in her hair.
I've dealt with enough legal situations to know the difference between your statement and a lawyer's statement.
Right. That's a lawyer's statement. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But I really think that some of this was blown out. Like, I don't think.
But here's the problem with that slope. Here's the problem. Some is not the problem. If anything is not right, then it's all wrong. That's how this shit works. It's not fair. That's how it works. So I could agree 100 times out of 100. Just because I like getting shit on this is the way this is operating in this space. You've seen it, this Me Too space. I could have agreed to be shit on 100 times. But if I didn't say yes on 101, it's a problem. Now, do I think that two things can be true here? Yes, Vince was doing this shit. Yes, an aspect of this is vindictive, maybe. Of course.
I bet you Vince shit on her in accident. I bet you his 70-something-year-old ass was just like going into it and literally lost his shit. Because like just the whole story, it doesn't make sense. Why did he go shower? Why did he go shower?
Don't think about sense. Don't think about sense.
No, but I'm saying, why did he go shower?
Don't think about sense. I can't. Like once we're in Dookie, listen, fuck, why did you shit on anybody? Why?
Because you're 72 years old and you can't control yourself.
That's all these drugs. I get that. But that's a theory. Let's just go off of what we're talking about. What's being reported? Okay, so what's in the report? Because that's all we can really go on as what's been submitted for evidence, right? Okay, so based on that, I can't understand why anything is anything if anybody's getting shit on at that point. Like, take a shower, that's what you're thinking about? Nigga, she's sitting over here in diarrhea land. Like, what the fuck? Maybe he was disgusted. Maybe he didn't expect it to be a shitty shit. Maybe he's used to just dropping clumps and moving. Maybe this was a time he was like, oh shit, that was a watery one.
Yeah, that went down my leg. Yeah, went down my leg. God damn it.
He never farted and was like, oh, that was a little bit more than a fart, bro. Shit. So maybe he started and was disgusted with himself.
I feel like it's overblown. Like, so the Brock thing.
Yes.
We look at the Brock thing where he was excited about the P video and he made a plan to have a play date with her, but it never happened because of a snowstorm.
Of course not.
Nigga. I am not Brock Lesnar. I'm not Vince McMahon. I'm not into any of this crazy stuff. But if I was going to have sex with that girl, she's a good-looking girl, and there was a snowstorm I would take the next flight. Like, what are you talking about? What are we talking about here? That shit doesn't make sense to me. That's why I think. That's why I think some of it's blown out of proportion.
We're different. I've been around these rich motherfuckers. They'll be like, why am I going to go through a snowstorm when there's a girl in my Rolodex that's up the street? You just sub them out. You just sub them out when you're at that level.
Right. But I would still go. This is the girl that he was psyched about, right? That he signed the contract because of, right?
Yeah.
Even if I waited after the snowstorm. I'm going to see you after.
Yeah.
Like, this girl was around. Vince was shitting on her. You can tell she said it never happened. Yeah. Not that it didn't happen till later because of a snowstorm. It never happened. So all of a sudden, Brock was just like, nah, I'm good with that. That doesn't sound right. I feel like some of this is. Well, I feel like there's a lot of truth,
or they're so normalized where the attitude is really like, nah, not tonight.
Maybe it could be that too. But just to me, it sounds like sounds like there's a lot of truth with a lot of blow up to it to make it as big as it is.
Like I've seen some shit, guys. Do not, I repeat, do not send your child to an all ages hip hop show. What did the girl say? Period. Do not send your child alone, unchaperoned, to an underage, all ages hip hop show. Because they might be checking their ID at the bar, but they're not checking their ID at the bus, nigga. I've seen a lot of like shit, that. Bro. I've seen a lot of shit. So,
but that goes back to like the responsibility.
That's what I'm saying,
and shit like that. So, like I blame parents that sent their kids to Michael Jackson's ranch. They're like, oh, Michael Jackson was doing this. Nigga, you sent your kid to hang out with Michael Jackson? Just not like a grown man. Like, yeah, go hang out with this grown man that I don't know at all.
Michael Jackson is the only person I've seen that went through one of those scenarios and people just would not even, like, even the stuff that even, like, I don't care how innocent. Let's say it was innocent. Let's say it was, like, I just had sleepovers. It was innocent. And still weird, guys. Still fucking weird. Right? So that just a lot. I just wanted to show love. Donate to an organization. Shut the fuck up. Like, what are we talking about? My kid's not staying the night.
But it's just as weird. The parents that were like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. It's an experience of a lifetime. You'll get to hang out with Michael Jackson.
So
no.
And I think Michael Jackson's a perfect example of how we pick and choose. Because we don't know. And we used to be in a space where at least if I don't know, I'm still just going to fall back a little bit until I get some clarity.
Right.
No, that's not what's happening with Michael. You know, so Michael's one of the people that, like, you know, just because he won that one case, you know what I'm saying? And it was proven that them people, Ryan Clark, the mother, it was proven that they was plotting. But the other people that they talked to, again, this is what like I said, why put yourself in that position?
Right.
Why are you building Neverland Ranch? Why? Go to Six Flags, nigga. The fuck's wrong with you?
Whatever, man. He didn't get to live his childhood. He's got all this money.
So that's your fucking problem.
I built a amusement park in my backyard.
Cool.
That's dope.
Cool. And who likes amusement parks? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I like amusement.
How much you want?
I am 46 years old, and I like amusement parks.
And then again,
if Michael Jackson invited me as a grown man, Michael Jackson's still alive today, has Neverland Ranch, and I get a phone call, hey, Shawn Puff, you want to come down to Neverland Ranch and hang out for the weekend? Yeah. I am going.
I'll go to the ranch.
I'm go to the ranch.
That. But what we're not doing is when the park's closed, it's like, hey, you guys want to stay tonight?
You know what? I might. I'm not going to stay in this room.
No, you don't have a kid. Add a kid to you. Add a kid to you. As a grown man, cool.
No.
Add a kid.
My nieces aren't coming.
You feel what I'm saying? He's like, hey, remember I said, y'all, he wasn't even talking to you. Nigga wasn't even looking at you. He's like, hey, do y'all want to stay tonight?
Right. Oh, that's different.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, hold on, bro. Like, I don't care how we chop it up. For a fact, he had kids sleeping in his room. That's enough for me. Let me tell you how bad it is. And people are going to slaughter me for this. And this is all relevant to all of this, right? That's why I'm glad Vince wasn't active when this all happened and da-da-da-da-da. Because I am an extremist with some of that shit. Like, when it's proven,
mm-hmm.
I don't know you. And I don't engage with it. I do parties now, and when people, I DJ on the side too. People ask me to play Michael at a kid's party, I blink and say, there's mad other, we don't have to do this right now. There's mad other shit. Just because of my own compass on not really understanding, I'm not one of those people that was just like, he just didn't do it. No, I still don't understand the truth of that situation. But the truth that I do know is already weird enough.
Right.
There's no, in my world, there's no innocent staying the night with kids.
Nah, I hear you.
In my world.
That's not lying. Remember I said earlier that there's a line in like Michael Jackson's on this side of the line. OJ's still over here for me, though. I'm saying. Just saying.
So, Vince, I think, they shouldn't, as long as there was like, he didn't, there's nothing in here, because people was acting like he raped somebody.
Right.
And none of the language speaks like that. None of the language speaks like, I didn't, grab you by the hair and shit in your face. Like, no, I said, hey, I gotta move this BM and you're gonna sit there, and you decided to be a toilet. So, in that regard, that's where it's a little different for me. These are adults. And that's where it always gets dicey with me, because it's like, we act like it's like we put it in the same box as like the Epstein shit with underage people and shit. And it's like, no, these were adults. We're
in a weird spot in society, right? Where it's like you said, like you could say yes 100 times, and you could say yes as he's shitting on you.
And then in the middle,
very last drop, you're like, no. Now all of a sudden it was all wrong.
That was a hard no. No. I told you watery shit. Right. Now I'm in trouble.
Right.
Remember what was the comedian? The comedian that got in trouble because he just had bad sex. It was the Indian comedian. Anzi.
Oh, yeah. I don't know his last name.
Howdy Kumar.
Yeah.
One of those. And he was killing it. And this girl literally Me Too'd him, and they went through this whole thing, and he got vindicated, but the stain is still there.
Right. You don't see him nowhere.
Don't see him nowhere, bro. It's crazy.
That's why I don't
So that's the problem with the danger.
That's why I don't have bad sex. Because that.
And that's the problem with Vince.
Yeah, bad sex.
Yeah.
Vince should have had good sex. Your friend should have been Johnny Laurinaitis. You should have brought in someone that has good sex. And you would have been good.
You didn't have to bring the fake Bobby Lashley. You should just brought the real one.
Right, brought the real Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley would have handled that. You would have been good.
So yeah, man,
Jesus.
like there's just so many layers to it. I'm interested to see, because the diehards we're gonna follow, but the rest of the people, like after WrestleMania, I think people are gonna go back into the universe and they'll be fine. But like we'll follow, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the AEW fans are like in
heaven.
They're
gonna follow. Oh my
God. No, they're
the post I've been seeing in the groups.
Right, and there's a lot of AEW fans that like it's weird. Wrestling is a weird space where instead of everybody just being like, hey, I don't care, you like this wrestling, I like this wrestling, we just like wrestling. Or, hey, I want everybody to do good. Because you know what would be great? If there was WWE and AEW
good competition.
And TNA and MLW and New Japan, and we had all these crazy options and there was good competition for it. No, instead, we're like, no, just AEW. Everyone else, you all suck, and I hope you all fail.
Yeah, yep.
It's wild. I mean, like, even the wrestlers don't.
It's
get
tribalism.
They got friends, but that's the thing. It's not like it's tribalism that you.
It's not the wrestlers. It's the fans,
right? Which that's why it makes no sense to me, because you got wrestlers that have friends and family on the other show, and they like show up at shows and visit, and they're friends with each other.
So I know that there's so many different dynamics, but think of it like AEW's like the fucking Atlanta Falcons and WWE's the Patriots. They're just treating it like a team sport now, but it's the whole conglomerate, not the different factors.
Right? No, I get that.
So it's crazy, but it is stupid. It's stupid.
It's nuts. It's nuts seeing fans like hate a guy that they've loved because he went to a different show.
Yeah,
because his contract ran out and he got a better deal. Like, what do you mean? That's your guy. Don't you want him to do better for his family?
Correct.
No, you want him to make less money?
And then just watch the other show. Like, just watch the fucking other show.
Or don't.
You
don't have to watch it, but be happy that your guy went and made a thing for himself and is now making more money. Sometimes they get mad because of a gimmick. Like, oh, that gimmick's dumb. He should quit. Like,
yeah.
Why?
Why?
Like, what? If he's enjoying doing it, he's making.
But that's why fans are fans. That's why they're in that seat. You know what I mean? And what it's like, remember what fans stand for? It's fanatics.
Right.
That's good or bad. It comes with it all. You know what I mean? This motherfucker change like the wind. You a fan. You change like the wind, bro. So I kind of like, I was watching something about the basketball players complaining about the people in the arena. I'm like, you all are in the Roman circus. Just get over it.
Right.
And they threw tomatoes. At least they ain't throwing shit at you. They was throwing stones and shit back then.
Mm-hmm.
So just take your little words, you know what I mean? Move on, da-da-da-da. AEW fans are going to have a good time with this, you know what I mean? And it just is what it is. You know, it just is what it is. It's all going to die down, man. There's so much good shit going on that's going to out Vince. The one thing I'm glad about, right, and this is the biggest takeaway, is that wrestling has gotten so huge. It's so massive. Regardless of whoever you disagree with, what AEW, TNA, all of it doesn't matter. Because it's gotten so huge that one person can't kill it.
Lesson. No, seriously. Right.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's a good sign for the business in the long haul.
It is.
Because it didn't even move a dent in ratings for WrestleMania.
No.
Not even a dent.
Well, if anything, it's going to bring more ratings. Like Royal Rumble, people tuned in for the Royal Rumble. People aren't tuning in.
Rumble.
I mean, they pulled Brock. Brock was supposed to be in that Rumble.
He was.
So the spot where Braun Breaker came in,
Rick
Steiner kid, that was supposed to be Brock. Oh. And they were like, Braun's the only guy that can pull off, be believable in that position that Brock was supposed to be in and like do the same stuff.
Got you.
He's gonna face off with Gunther. Like you can't put some tiny little guy that comes in and does that.
Yeah.
Braun was the guy to do it. So like he took Brock's position in that because Brock, I kind of feel bad for Brock out of everybody in this. He's the one, and not like
he seems to be in limbo right now. Like what's going on there?
Well, he's a very private person as it is. So
yeah, correct.
He's not the kind of guy that's going to come out and make a statement about it. But he's just kind of got canceled because he's involved with it and he's one of the names. So John Laurinaitis, John Laurinaitis was Mr. People Power. He's not on TV anymore. Vince, not on TV anymore, but he had to step down from his board position. The other name that was mentioned is Brock Lesnar because he was happy that girl peed. Which...
And lesson. Be your own man. You don't have to co-sign any kind of weird stuff because the person is in a bigger position. You can, and I can teach you the art. You literally just look at it, nod, and keep it moving. Don't say shit. No, because the look at it part is because like you put it in front of me. So I'm obviously I don't know what I'm about to see.
Right.
But once I've seen it, okay, in my mind is like, this nigga's crazy. But I'm not about to say anything that's good because it's the peer pressure thing. I'm not saying that's the case with Brock. But sometimes people just like respond to shit and be like, oh, because he could have thought Vince was tripping. Like, you tripping, bro? Like, what are you talking about? Because you know what I mean? Like, and then it happened. It was like, oh man, that's funny. You really did that. Oh shit. He could have.
But so we're talking about stupid people. I think he's dumber than anybody. Do you know who his wife is?
No.
He's married to Sable.
Oh, that's right, Sable. Yes. Yeah. Very stupid.
He's married to Sable.
Very stupid. That's very, very stupid, my guy. Very stupid.
Like what?
That's, you know what I mean?
Like,
epitome.
What?
You're stupid. You're stupid.
And you get off of some other girl peeing?
You're stupid.
Granted, she's probably not going to pee for you. She'll probably slap you in your face for it. But just enjoy what you have there. Like, come on.
But remember, there's a reason why. I'm about to get cancer right now. There's a reason why men with women, a guy doesn't cheat on his girl to go do the shit he's going to do with his girl.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yep. You're cheating to do some stuff.
Wow, I found the uncancelable way to say that. That was amazing. That was good. I didn't, because I was about to say it a different way. In my head, it was going to get canceled. But a guy's not going to cheat on his girl to go do the same shit his girl does. That's not why he's doing it.
Right.
That's not why he's doing it.
Right. Because otherwise he would have just done it at home.
You want to get really deep? Sometimes it's not a matter of whether or not your girl will do it. It's something that you don't want to do to her.
Right.
Like I want to shit on her.
Right. I want to shit on her.
I got to go home. I got to look at you every day. Like, I won't even see her no more. She can be my little teapot. But you know what I'm saying? Right. I can party train over there.
I respect you. If I shit on a girl, I got no respect
for her. I got no respect for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, for the girl, she might not have no respect for you either. It's transactional. Again, you know what solves this? Communication. Because there's girls that's for it. Just go log on to OnlyFans. That's what I'm understanding. Like if you're in, like if I was rich, again, let me just put the devil's advocate hat on. I would never do this, but I'm just saying, like if I was in that realm, then it's a Google search. There's like a whole swath of fucking groups out there of people that like being shit on.
Right.
Trust me, when I started studying this case, I went deeper down that rabbit hole. There is an entire shit on me community. There is a whole genre for being shit on in porn. You tell me you couldn't hit up one of them?
I'll take your word for it.
Oh no, I'm like you don't know. This man be on the hub. Get the fuck out of here, guys.
I don't be looking at people shitting on people.
No, of course
but
not.
you're right.
I'm saying
it's there. It's all there.
No, you're right. I didn't know the name of it when I said genre. I was like, boo what? I was like, oh,
bukkake. Yeah, see, I know what we're talking about here.
I didn't know that. I knew all the other shit. I didn't know. So anyway, And that's the thing. I've seen, like, you remember the 2 girls, 1 cup shit that happened. We've seen some wild shit.
That's why in this episode,
I'm from the age of steak and cheese. You remember steakandcheese.com?
Yes.
Oh my God. Like, y'all think E-Bomb's world is hot? Bro, if you ain't from the steak and cheese. I saw full disclosure, I'm about to say something very crazy. If you're triggered, it's okay. I saw that journalist. I saw that journalist from 9/11 get beheaded on steakandcheese.com, son. Remember back in from 9/11 when the first guy that hit the internet, it was the first time we ever, like, as a society seen that, when they killed that, when they beheaded that. I mean, I remember the gurgling. And this was on steakandcheese.com. No warning, no nothing. So sometimes
now you made me want to go look. I had somewhere I recorded, and I hope it's still like in the cloud somewhere.
Yep.
I bet you it's not. It was like a Fox News special report. There was like a car chase in like Las Vegas or something, or somewhere. Right? And this dude, like, they got the helicopters, and it was one of those places where they can't have high-speed car chases. So the cops can't, like, this guy's speeding.
He's flying.
So they got a helicopter following this guy, right? And this guy pulls off on some, like, dirt road and drives up the dirt road for a bit, gets out the car, starts running, and he turns back, yelling like he's yelling at somebody. They got the camera right on this dude. He starts yelling at someone, and he reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out, and he goes like this, just boom, and just shoots himself. Like, right, it was like on TV.
I remember that, and he was leaking everywhere. Yeah. I remember seeing that clip somewhere too. Yeah.
It was Shepard Smith, and they didn't give that delay.
Yeah.
So he's like, wow, this is kind of
remember
crazy.
that our era is the one that created the delay.
Right.
Because it was a phenomenon they never met with before.
Right.
And our era is why there's a TV delay, bro.
Shepard Smith's just like, he's like, get off. Oh. It's like, you dumb ass.
So we're at like the last 10-minute mark, so we don't keep y'all for 2 hours.
Let's get on the Rumble.
Yeah,
10 minutes before we get out of here.
All right, so let me just start the smoke out the gate, because I saw you post about it, and I was like, hold on, time out, sir. Ladies! Yo, y'all's Rumble was fire.
I think it was a botch fest.
He thinks it was a botch fest, but I'm saying that your botches and your speed and your activity, to me, seemed more athletic than a lot of the guys that was in there.
Okay, I can see your side of it, where it was more energetic.
Yes,
and more.
I was more sold in their fights, even down to the ending. The way it ended, I was more sold on that. I'm not gonna lie, like the long, drawn out part at the end with Punk and Rhodes. I think they went like maybe 2 or 3 series too long.
You see what happened to that, right?
What?
Punk tore his tricep.
I saw, yeah. Punk tore his tricep. Yep. See?
Which ruins the whole story.
Going too long, doing too much. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I felt like, oh, Jade, I'm hoping he's going to throw you some props. I thought you looked great. I thought she looked great.
She looked a lot better. She looks like she definitely put work in.
They definitely gave her some of that shot time, for real.
Yeah, absolutely. People were wondering why, how they signed her and they're not bringing her, they're not going to use her. No, like, see, I said it before. I think Triple H saw, man, this girl's still green. They weren't training her. And AEW, let's be real about it, they don't have the type of facilities
to do that
WWE has. They have the ability to bring you in and actually train you with trainers, and here's what we're going to do, and you're in here every day training.
Yeah.
AEW was kind of like, go hang out with this guy and train, and who knows if you're training with him or if he's just doing coke or what.
Another thing, too, is debatably, not even debate, I don't think it's a debate. The Women's Rumble had the most memeable moment, too, because of R-Truth.
Oh, that was so funny.
So funny, man. So funny. R-Truth, my God.
If you missed it, R-Truth was number 24 in the Men's Rumble. But when number 24 comes out for the Women's Rumble, R-Truth came out to the ring. And then got thrown out, by the way.
Correct.
Quickly.
But Valhalla is very upset at him because she was coming out. She was the one behind him. And something happened when she got distracted, got knocked out because of his entrance.
Yep. So that'll lead to something I expect down the road.
But I thought the girls rocked, man. Like, I don't know. It's like sometimes I watch the UFC fights too, and I'm like, yo, the girls are like slinging no inhibition, no apprehension, just flinging and flying.
But sometimes it comes out bad because they botch.
But I didn't feel like it was bad. I didn't feel like it was. I saw what you were talking about.
Like the Io Shirai, Io Sky finish where she was like hanging out the ring and everything.
Yeah.
Like I don't know that was a botch, but when I look at it, I'm like, that couldn't have been how that was supposed to end. Something else was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And you guys couldn't pull it off. Like you were supposed to like try to pick her up, maybe, and then something.
Got you. Yeah.
But there was just things like that just didn't come off like they should.
Yeah. But I felt the same way for the guys, man. I was watching and I was
upset that we didn't get a Kofi Kingston spot.
Yeah, like there was some spots that were missing, some things that we expected. You know, missing Brock was huge. I mean, I love Young Boy, but you know what I'm saying? Brock is Brock. You know what I mean? I don't know why I felt like I expected maybe some more surprises.
I did too. Usually the Rumbles got that where you get like a few guys who haven't seen
an announcement.
Jordan
like
Grace looked great. I'll tell you that.
Jordan Grace did look great. Yes, absolutely.
The beginning of the Women's Rumble, I'll tell you that. The beginning of the Women's Rumble, I think, was awesome.
I think 2/3 of the Women's Rumble was better than 2/3 of the guys. That's just my opinion on it. Just optically, because like I could tell even in the room, we had our conversation. We were talking a little bit more through the guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there was like there was just a few sequences in there that. So I think the girls used the dead space better.
Right.
So like when people were in the corner, they still were kind of active. Whereas like some of the guys, I don't know if it's ailing injuries, whatever. I don't know if it's age. I don't know what it is. But a few of them, they was just like laying over there, like, oh, like how long are you gonna just roll around? Somebody got to slap you once to keep you there for another 2 minutes. Like, you know, you gotta get hit one more time. You know what I mean? No, we're talking about selling. And I felt like the girls, like, regardless, there was so much shit going on that I could have missed the botch. Because these girls are still pounding over here in the corner. Nobody's just sitting on the ground. Yeah. You know what I mean? There was a lot of like just spot monkeys. There was a lot of spot monkey shit going on. Yep. I felt like in the men's rumble.
Okay. I can see that. That makes sense.
And shout out to the ladies, man. Like we been gone from 10 years. Like there's never been this quality of wrestling like in this number when I was coming up. So like this is amazing to see. Amazing. And like I was worried, like am I here we go, I'm about to get canceled. I was like, all right, but it's like the ladies rumble, like the WNBA. Cause I ain't here for that shit. I'll see you in 10 years when all of y'all can dunk, but I'm not watching dunkless basketball. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? No.
Yeah, no, they can't.
No, they held it in their own right, and I love that.
When they first did it, when they first tried doing rumbles for the women, it was you throw through the middle rope. And then they were like, no, over the
middle
top.
rope. Nah, don't be treating them like that.
Right. So
equality. Get your ass over that top rope.
I think that the Fatal 4-Way for the World Championship was a dope match.
That was a dope match.
Like, that was probably my favorite.
One
of my favorite Roman Reigns matches because most of his matches are the same thing every time.
Oh, so I got a special treat.
Yeah, you got
because they definitely mixed it up.
Yeah, one of his better matches usually is the same thing.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that, and I think it was part of it's who he was in the ring with. I think LA Knight's great. I think that guy's got a bright future in the WWE.
Yeah.
Randy Orton. He's
Randy Orton. Yeah, correct.
AJ Styles. Another guy.
Yeah, correct.
He was with a bunch of
that was a
workers.
good. Yeah, that was great work.
Yeah,
that was a great match. How did you feel about the interruption, the interference play by the Bloodline? We called it. We knew it was coming because we was all like, where are they at?
Right, it always happens. You know that's going to happen. That's what's going to help Roman every time. Like if he needs it. Solo Sikoa, I think that kid's got a great future. Once it's time for Roman to drop his belt and move on to something else. I think you're going to see Solo Sikoa be the next big name.
Got you. He's going to be the new head of the table.
Right.
Got you.
And I also think they're trying to bring in, what I've heard is they're trying to bring their other cousin in, Jacob Fatu.
Okay.
He's like Rikishi.
So they just got a whole genetic tree of this shit going on, huh?
Yeah, it's all the Samoans.
It's ridiculous.
They all go back. If you look up that Samoan dynasty and that family,
they're just huge.
They go all the way back to the Head Shrinkers. Remember the Head Shrinkers?
Oh, yes, yeah.
That's where it started. Like Alpha and Sika.
Yeah, what the heck, yo? That's so crazy.
So those are like the grandfathers. So when they talk about the heads of the tribe, that's what they're talking about. Alpha and Sika and Rikishi and like those group of people. You know what I mean? Because Rikishi, that's Uso's dad. Solo Sikoa's dad. That's Rikishi.
Yeah, it was funny seeing the two brothers come out to start.
Right.
How'd you feel about that?
I should have expected it.
Yeah.
But
you just didn't see it. There was so much shit going on.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like, oh, Jimmy and Jay coming out
when
first?
they broke up. Yeah. And Jay left the Bloodline. He went to Raw.
Okay.
So you haven't seen them like
together.
Really go at it.
Got you.
Because they're on different shows now.
I like that. I like that No Yeet shirt. I like that no yeet shirt.
I love that no yeet shirt. Because I don't like yeet. I think it's stupid. I want that no yeet shirt. Absolutely. So let me throw something out there for you. Speaking of that family, did you know for you? Did you know that Yokozuna is a member of that family?
No, but I can see that now that you said it.
Yeah, he wasn't Japanese. He's Samoan. He played that big Japanese
guy. It's a thin line.
Yeah.
With that Pacific Islander chain over there. Yep. Yeah, I can see that.
He's
wow.
Like same family. He's Roman's cousin.
Wow.
Like not like distant family, like part of that family.
It must have been a funny meeting when it was like, nah, Yokozuna, bro. You like
Vince is like, you're gonna be a sumo wrestler.
Yeah. Sumo for you, bro. Sumo. Put this fucking diaper on. See? He was telling us a long time ago.
That full circle like this.
He was like, oh, you're gonna do the stinky face? Yes.
Right.
Put some big ass cheeks in his face.
Man. Why did Vince come up with that? Was that his thing? Because he likes that stuff, man. He likes poop jokes and fart jokes and pee jokes. Like, he's into that.
Oh, man.
That's the one thing that makes this whole thing believable.
Yeah,
like,
that's that, like, original
poop.
fucking Matchbox era. Like, walking around them 10 fucking... That's that kind of humor.
Right.
Walking around them... You remember them 10 fucking lunch pails?
Right. Seriously. God.
Oh, man. So wild. So how did you feel about the Logan Paul match?
Logan Paul always impresses.
I was very impressed.
And I think a lot of people were, because I think a lot of people didn't realize how good he fits well.
He does.
Like he carries himself. He's got that, just his natural persona.
Yeah.
What he's put, and it's not like, it doesn't come across as fake or forced.
Yeah.
Because it's the same persona that he's had in
the
all
whole
his
time.
YouTube
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
It's like this pretentious prick.
Yeah.
But he's just very athletic.
Yeah.
And he fits in well. He can wrestle. He gets the idea of it. He understands the psychology of wrestling, which makes it all believable.
And it's good because he had the collegiate college background too, wrestling background, right. So that helps. In high school.
Yep.
So that helps. There was a base there to work off of. I know it's substantially different, but suplexing and all of that, there's a lot of variations there.
And it's just about
the pliability too.
He put in his time. He came in, he trained under Shawn Michaels, he trained down in the event center, and he first signed like a part-time contract, and then he upped his contract to a full-time contract, and he said, I'm going to make this more than a hobby now. This is what I do now. So, I mean...
Nah, he did a great job. I thought it was a great match. I even liked the ending. I thought the way it ended was hilarious. Like the announcer said, oh, now the ref has 20/20 vision when he saw the knuckles. I thought it was hilarious. I was definitely, again, as a person who stepped away for a long time and I've been doing this, I was thoroughly entertained. When I say that the ladies' rumble was better, I'm not saying that the men's rumble was horrible. It
drew you in more.
It did. And it's just the girl, like Naomi being back. So it was like a good night for me to be there because I remember Naomi. And it's like, I'm coming back now. Now I'm thinking about, Sasha Banks coming back. Like, how's this all going to work out now? You know what I mean?
Right.
There's so many different layers. So it's just, I'm enjoying being back right now. And again, I'm enjoying the fact that all this shit that's going on is not big enough to stop what's going on right now, to stop with Triple H and everybody's about to create and is creating that we're all enjoying right now. So now I'm really interested in what's going to be going on at WrestleMania.
Right. Well, before that, we get Elimination Chamber.
I forgot about the Elimination Chamber. Yeah, that's coming up.
That's going to be a wild one. And then we got Mania
5 a.m.
in April. 5 a.m. That's going to be nuts.
Well, so we're going to be pulling a 5 a.m. watch party. That's going to be nuts.
We'll see how many of you are up.
Correct. We'll see who the real wrestling fans are.
See, I got friends in Australia that will be up.
Correct.
Because they're in Australia and in Britain and all that. I got wrestling friends.
Well, remember, we're 3 hours behind from the West Coast, too, so some of them people are definitely going to be sleeping.
Right. I was like, what? They're going to be they're just going to bed. They're like, damn, I would stay up. I'm going to bed.
But when they get up, they might see our watch party first.
Right. There you go. But it'll be good. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Mania. Trying to figure everything out for Mania.
But how do you think it's going to work now? Because now you have Seth Rollins who's injured.
Right.
You have CM Punk who's injured.
Yep.
How's this all going to play out?
I have no idea. We're going to find out. So tonight, by the time we post this, it'll be like last night.
Correct.
On Raw, they're going to talk about, I guess Punk's probably going to open the show. Punk's going to address the crowd and we're going to see where it comes from it.
I'm really going to watch Raw tonight, guys.
Here's the thing. It's going to make this right here, for once, the road to WrestleMania is very cloudy.
Yeah.
Usually, it's not cloudy, foggy. I'm going to say foggy. Because cloudy's high.
Yeah.
The road.
This is right here.
The road's foggy right now because usually we know what's going to go on and you know exactly, this is what we're going to get now. And now we're at a point where we're like, not only do we not know what they're going to do with the World Championship going into Mania. But we don't even know who the opponent's going to be because it was supposed to be CM Punk. That's already been told now. It was supposed to be Punk Rollins. Punk's going to miss probably 6 months, I'd say.
So Cody and Roman definitely are going at it. I mean, Cody already said that.
Yeah, it's going to be Cody Roman.
Do you think that he's going to complete the story? Because like so again, sitting there watching everything and realizing that you got me up to speed, I said, oh, this is interesting. Because now you got the streak versus the story.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody got to lose. But the fact that those are such deep in the cloth of like who those characters are, it's fire when I think about it. But how did you feel about Cody Rhodes winning?
I didn't think he needed to win. I think he could have got there the other way. I think Punk should have won, but now in hindsight, Punk tore his tricep. So I didn't even know if it was written that way or if it was supposed to be Punk, and then Punk realized he was hurt. I was like, yo, throw me out, I'm hurt. And like, I don't know. Well, maybe we'll find out down the road that, hey, that wasn't, they had to switch that up when they realized that Punk was hurt. Maybe Punk found out later. I don't know. I think hindsight being 2020, it was the right call. But outside of that, without the injury, I would have went with Punk winning it. And it then adds this other layer where last year, Cody won the Rumble and then lost at Mania.
Yeah, okay.
This year, he comes so close. He's the second to last guy. And then he gets thrown out and doesn't win the Rumble. It looks like he's not going to finish the story.
Yeah.
And then he has to go to Elimination Chamber and win an Elimination Chamber to end up finally getting his shot, going through 5 other guys.
Yeah.
It just makes the story that much deeper for me. That's the road I would have went with that.
Okay. Yeah, because, I mean, that's what we talked about, and it made sense. Now, like you said, it's very foggy right now. But I like this, though. Like, as a person who's just coming back, I like it.
There's tons of different ways they can go. So the other
still
rumor,
trying to figure out how they're going to play the Rock situation. Will we see Lesnar at at WrestleMania? What capacity? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm excited to see like how all of this develops. So, now there was a point in time where I remember like Randy Orton being the guy.
Yep.
What's going on?
He's old. He was injured. He just came back from injury.
Okay, so
this is just like
you're bringing me into a point that I wanted to make. When I saw Randy flying around everywhere, I felt like him and Punk lost a step.
Probably, but I'll say this.
I get it because, it's a bang-up sport, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I could see it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could see that like, him tearing his bicep wasn't shocking me because at some point in the night, I was like, he there was a moment I felt like he felt older.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, not disrespectfully. Not disrespectfully at all, because you're still out there doing your thing. But if there was a gear that I didn't see from when I did see Punk earlier on.
Right.
So I say that to say, is it incumbent upon management at some point to figure out how to fit them in the better dynamic so they can still have that longevity? Because once like in sports, I could love you. You could have been the greatest player of all time. But once AI loses that first step, we got to figure something out.
Well, so here's the difference with wrestling.
Yes.
Are you selling merch? If you're selling merch, then I don't care.
Correct.
It's really what it comes down to.
Correct.
Are you selling merch and are people buying tickets just to see you? Doesn't matter if you suck. People buy tickets to see Ric Flair, and they bring that 70-year-old man out, put him in the ring, and he wrestles still whenever he can. He just had his last match like last year.
Okay.
Like seriously.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it should have been done.
Business as usual.
But
for sure.
If they could sell tickets, they could sell belts, they could sell merch. That's all they care. That's all the promoter cares about. If you can make money for me, I'll put you out there.
Makes sense.
Even if you look like an idiot.
Yeah, business as usual. Yeah.
It comes up to you. So have you seen the movie The Wrestler?
No.
Watch the movie The Wrestler.
Wait, maybe I have. Who stars in it?
I forget his name. But it's about an old wrestler.
I feel like I have, but maybe not.
He should be retiring, and he can't retire, and he stays in, and then he gets injured.
Yeah.
Like,
is it Mickey Rourke?
Mickey Rourke.
I did see it.
Yes.
That's a great movie. I did see it.
But that's wrestling, real. Like that's what it's like. You got these guys that are like hold on to it forever.
Yeah.
Punk just happened to take a lot of time off, and that's where he lost his.
So maybe he's getting in game shape. Okay, got you. So it's like him getting in game shape.
Think about it. So he left WWE because of all the shit before, right?
Yeah.
Because of Vince wanting him to work injured and all this shit.
Yeah.
Then he went into he was like, I'm going to UFC, and he just got his ass handed to him and looked like a fucking clown.
Yeah.
And so he quit that, and then you didn't hear him from like a decade. and then he decided I'm coming back into wrestling again. So at some point, you can't do all that. Like, you're too old to like do the stuff that you're doing then.
Correct.
Unfortunately,
Correct.
It is what it is.
Correct.
I mean, and that's why I was saying this is a
I noticed it more when he did his move.
Right.
I could see it. Like, up until that point, I just was like, maybe he's just pacing, da-da-da-da. But when he did the put, I think he did it like 3 times.
Yeah, go to sleep.
To go to sleep. And it didn't look like what I was used to.
And that's probably what he probably tore his bicep doing that.
That's okay, because I was
doing
that's
when you think
about
it
now, yeah. Like, how early was it when he tore it? Because he probably fought through it.
Right.
There was another guy and he hurt his knee. He was fighting.
It's his second time
tearing biceps
since he's come back.
Yeah, that's a bitch. And if it reoccurs, you got to get the surgeries and shit. They got to clean, and it's hard. You know what I mean? Because the bicep's very tricky. You know, and then at some point, if you at a certain age, it's hard to keep doing those kind of surgeries because then you lose that muscle. It goes into atrophy, and it's hard to build muscle after a certain age. Yep. You know, naturally. Right. So we don't want him eating the Roidos. So, we know he's a clean cut guy, clean edge. So, at least that's the way he's promoted it.
Yeah, it's kind of from everything I know.
Yeah, clean cut.
And that's why that's part of why he left, because he wasn't going to take the drugs.
I remember you were saying that he wasn't with the culture in the workplace. So
Well, no, like even the drugs that they wanted him to take.
No, that's what I meant. Like,
take these drugs and go out there and work.
Yeah, correct.
And he was like, no,
I'm not taking a cortisone shot, bro. I'm good. Yeah. No, that's what I meant, because that's the slippery slope. It starts with the prescription and it turns into some other shit. So we see it in all different kinds of sports. So no, man, like the Rumble, like. Again, I want to say thank you for bringing me back into this world, because I actually came home and I said, I've been so serious and rigid with the mission that I'm on that I don't know how to enjoy shit that much anymore, and not much really entertains me.
Right.
I can't watch people throw balls through hoops, make more money than me all day, da-da-da-da-da. And I know that these guys are wrestling, make more money, but their purpose is to entertain me. It's not like,
they're supposed to be over the top.
Correct.
Crazy.
Correct. Versus like pretentious basketball players or football players acting like divas when they make all this money and expect us to relate. I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry, guys. But in the WWE world, I felt guilt-free enjoyment. So I got it. That's what I haven't had in a while. I felt guilt-free, nonsensical, whimsical, childlike enjoyment.
Right.
And I think you saw it. I was having a good fucking time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We had fun.
He tried to kill me, though. Let me tell y'all, my man, he cooked, he made some good food. Boy, I bit that first piece of chicken. I was like, oh, shit. Where's the salt? It was like, you put some salt in this shit.
Hey, it's funny. I didn't put any salt. I used a garlic pepper seasoning that I didn't realize there was salt in it like that. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. That just said garlic and pepper.
But you don't understand. I'm not saying like it was a bad way. It's like, no, I'm black. I can't bite this. I'm going to eat this whole tray.
Oh, right. Fact. Yeah.
And I don't want to. I stay away from salty chicken because I will eat all that shit.
There was none left.
There was none left.
Like everyone was like, oh, this is salty, but we all ate it. It wasn't a piece left.
It was fire watching it that big on the wall, too. It was like, it felt very immersive, so that was cool.
Right, yeah.
That was definitely cool. You got me want to like put my projector up there now. Figure it out. Unfortunately, I don't have a nice flat wall that big in here.
Right. Yeah.
But still, like, it was a great time, man. I'm happy to be back engaged. I'm happy that, like, again, like, this podcast is doing great things, and I appreciate you having me come on as a co-host, even though I was like coming in very green and getting me involved, because that, it takes time to like build that rapport. But me and you, we know each other, so that's why the conversation comes off. So
and we have other cool things we do with this too.
Correct.
Listen, when this indie shows around, we're gonna go to indie. We were just having a conversation about GCW, which I've been to. I used to go to FET in Providence.
Yeah.
It doesn't come out here anymore.
Yes.
But it goes to Connecticut.
To
Hartford.
Okay.
So we were talking about maybe going to a show in Hartford.
Yeah, I'm with it. I mean, we're talking about maybe, hey, if you're a listener, you're tuned in, you want to meet up, maybe we might be in Philadelphia during the Mania. We're not going to the Mania itself because it can be crazy and I'm not paying Super Bowl ticket prices to sit in the first 5 rows. But there's, how it is. There's a whole spectacle around it, other events and things going on, as Shawn informed me. So if you're in the city and you are tuned
if we go, I will probably be hanging out at Effie's Big Gay Brunch.
Oh, there you go.
No homo.
There you go.
I'm just saying.
Whoa. We pausing? What's going on here?
It's Effie's Big Gay Brunch. Effie's gay.
Oh, I didn't hear the gay part. Yeah, I didn't hear
his gimmick is that he's gay.
I mean,
he's gay.
I mean, I ain't at Dick's Last Resort, so we didn't pause that shit.
Well, his whole show is Effie's Big Gay Brunch. And like 90% of people on the show are
That's
gay
all
or
that matters.
lesbian.
Oh yeah, so is the food fire? I don't give a fuck about the rest of that shit. Is it fire?
Oh, it's not a real brunch. This is what they named the wrestling
Oh
show.
Jesus!
I was like, what do you
I'm
mean
confused.
food? I was confused. I was like, huh?
My bad.
Yeah, no, it's not a real wrestling
My bad. He's trying to get me back
show.
here.
You'll like for the culture.
For the culture. I mean, I like anything, bro. You know me.
But for the
I like
culture it's a majority black show.
You see
It's
how this
like put on
motherfucker-
by a black
You
promoter.
see this motherfucker just put me in a box? You put a nigga named Peter Walker with the most British shit you ever. He put me in a box. You know what this nigga said? No, time out. You know what this nigga said to me? He said, I like her on that dynamic, man. Because you're the hood guy. I said, what the fuck, bro? Oh, father.
No, but I'm just saying.
I'm
But
playing,
I
I'm
just feel
playing,
like
you know.
that's the show that we're gonna go to,
Yes.
and you're gonna like be super immersed into it. Like you're gonna like by the end of that show, you're gonna be like right up front, like
Wait, what
up
the
there,
fuck
like,
is this?
"No!"
All right, hey, I'm going. I'm going.
We'll end up
But
backstage.
see, he might be surprised. I might like the big gay brunch. He might not, you know what I mean? I like a lot of shit people don't realize. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking around with astronauts fucking tatted on me, not fucking strippers. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
You
Fair
might
enough.
be surprised.
Fair enough. But anyway, before we get out of
Yes.
here, next week, we will bring you the Smarkies,
Yes.
barring some other ridiculously insane thing that happens in wrestling news that we just can't avoid having a conversation about. We will have the Smarkies next week. It's got to happen. We're almost into February. Got to get out the awards for last year.
Correct.
Before we forget about last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
The
that's
news
good.
cycle is quick to forget it. But
Right,
yes.
seriously. So we're gonna run down everything that was 2023, the good, the bad, the ugly, the spot monkeys, and all that stuff. And if you've listened to my podcast in the past and you've heard of Smarkies, it's not for the faint of heart. Some of you are gonna get mad. We were talking about like actually creating awards to give out for the Smarkies, and I was saying it'll be interesting, but I feel like some people won't want them.
Just send us an Instagram video of like, oh, this is nice trash.
Right, seriously,
You
like
diss me, bro.
worst wrestler of the year. I feel like that dude's not gonna want it.
Congratulations.
I feel like he's not gonna want it. Like, you might want to fight me, and I ain't about that. I'm just saying. So, but next week will be the Smarkies. I'll be all done up for it. Hopefully, we can get some of my former co-hosts and contributors to give out some awards for us. Get ready for an amazing show next week, and we'll obviously follow up with all this other stuff.
Correct.
Like, look for us on social media. Look for our reels. We'll post shit as shit comes out, because like literally,
Correct.
the jokes just make themselves.
Literally. Like this is not going away. Poopgate is gonna be a thing for a while.
For
In
a
our
long
circle,
time.
for sure.
For a long time. Geez, I should name the episode Poopgate
Poopgate.
instead of Two Girls, One Vince. It's not even
No,
really
both
two
are great.
girls.
Both are great. I mean,
Right.
it was two guys, $1 grand.
Poopgate,
Yeah.
two girls, two guys, $1 grand. Oh man.
2 guys, $1 grand. I mean, you didn't put it out yet.
Right. So
Announcement.
you just watched the title of this episode change through the episode. This has been Two Guys, $1 grand. Poopgate. 2 guys, $1 grand. Holy shit. Holy shit. I mean, we got to get out of here, right?
Yeah,
Well,
it's time to go.
listen. For Lonelle Walker, I'm Shawn Puff, and this has been Smarks, Spot Monkeys, and Super Kicks.
Yeah.
Don't poop on my head. See you next week.
Nah.